What's going on with you peoples? If you're in the building, wherever you're coming from, Facebook, Instagram, tune in, tap in. I need to see you in the hearts and the likes. I need to see the hearts and the likes. We've got a little bit of time. I ain't even trying to rush it right now. I'm feeling super mellow. The queen of this house has got me in a mood. And while we're going to talk about checking your emotions tonight, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of seconds. Hear me, a little bit of seconds. I'm going to give you a little bit of time. I'm not really ready to go just yet. Camera's acting up on me, so you're gonna be staring at the icon tonight. If you can hear me, you're gonna be staring at the icon tonight. We got a little bit of time, like I said, and I don't really. I'm ready, but I'm not ready. How did that song go from back in the? It seems like you're ready. Yeah, it seems like some people are ready, but it seems like some people aren't ready tonight. So I'm gonna be behind the scenes. I got to do one thing, and we're not going to be long tonight. I promise you we're not going to be long tonight. So I'm going to hit the countdown. And we're going to, get this. Thank y'all for being in the building tonight. Get the likes. You can share the link. Let's get rocking. 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. Salute to gas mask, salute to manic sophistication, salute to Can I Get Some Podcast. The brothers, the true brothers in the building tonight. Salute to everybody else who's going live across the YouTube platform. Got Fatty, Team Fatty going live. Ilkhan Ali going live. Sharon Bracey going live. The brothers putting in some good work to balance out the platform and bring balance to this crazy world we live in. Salute, salute. Brother Will in the building. These brothers are some dear brothers of mine. Salute.
Quick on the track.
Many fantasies are being transformed into reality by modern science.
Salute to everybody in the building. We're going to get live. I'm just waiting on this one piece of technology to let me do what I got to do. I love live streaming, but I hate when technology holds me up. Real talk. Guys, give me. everybody, what is going on in these YouTube streets? I am your host, more than an icon, but I'm still trying to elevate to greatness. My name is Conrad. I am the host of the Real Real podcast. Give it up for yourselves this evening. I hope everybody is doing well and I hope everybody is blessed. And as we get through tonight you are tuning in to the Real Real podcast, where we are real people having real conversations about real things. Now, because of the nature of tonight's conversation, tonight we are talking about men checking their emotions. And you know what? I would include the ladies too. Check your emotions. Check your emotions. Get your emotions in check because we can't afford to be in situations where we are not in control of how we feel when we feel what we feel. Give yourselves a round of applause. One more time. Come on. Now, with that said, you can find us on all platforms at The Real Real. That is DAREEA. Did I just mess that up? I think I did. Let's start again. That is The Real Real underscore SCE on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, Twitter/X. I still don't get why he called that. Elon's trying to say that, Twitter's unlimited. It's infinite. No, it's more like finite, brother, but it's all right. We'll still rock with it. You can find us DAREALREEL underscore SCE. Instagram, Threads, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. You can find us there. Follow us. You are following along on YouTube, do click that notification bell so that you get these notifications the minute we have new content popping. And there's some different things going on for us in this space, and I'm so glad about it because I've got some good brothers. And most of the brothers, if not all of the brothers I know, are good brothers. So I want to shout them out. I want to shout out Ilkan Ali. I want to shout out Team Fatty. I want to shout out Sharon Bracy. I want to shout out Truth and Purpose. And most importantly, the brothers, Manic, Mr. Sophisticated Jerk, Otis Who Podcast, Things Might Be Risky, DJ Ham, Ray Midnight, Will Nicosi, Paulo, Can I Get Some Podcast, Damien, the Manic Genius. Oh my days, these brothers here. Big Dog Balkin, where you at? I'm hoping that I'll see you at some point. My brothers is letting me know that I might have to switch the invite, so I'm gonna do that right now. And there we go. There we go. And I'm gonna start this one. And I'm gonna take the old ones off. Somebody let me know in the chat, or for the brothers that will end up coming up. Do I have to switch the the StreamYard link every time. Like I noticed some of my other brothers do it. Like Will will send me a new link anytime I'm coming up on his panel. Um and some of the other brothers, but I'm always wondering, like, do I have to switch these things up, or can can they just be what they are? I've always wondered that. I'm always wondering that. I always thought it was static. So let me know if my sound in terms of my voice is off. I need everybody to let me know if there's anything. Okay, sophisticated jerk said I have. Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. Cool. That is okay. All right, I just learned something new. And I'm learning over here. I don't have it all down yet. I'm not I'm not the Michael Jordan of this, but I hope to be one day. And I'm working with some great brothers that hold me accountable. They have great insight, and as I pull them up, they gonna be ready. I see one of my brothers ready already, and I love that. I love that. Last, you know what? I really want to just jump into this because we might not be too long tonight. I might not do the regular 3 hours. Maybe that I was aspiring to. Um, the one thing that I can say as we get ready, which is why I really want to jump into this topic tonight, because I think there is a lot to unpack. Um, and I really want to get into these topics. But overall, the first thing is everybody that's tuning in, whether you're watching now and you're on the live now, whether you're on Facebook with us, wherever you are, I want to thank you for being here, because it does mean a lot to me. It does mean a lot to this platform, and it does mean a lot to the men that hold me accountable, that I'm consistently learning from. And I'm so blessed to actually meet in this space, and as we build further, I'm hoping to just be a great addition to the team. I don't think and consider myself greater than anybody else, but when I'm running against myself, it's a clash of the titans, if you feel what I'm saying. And anybody who knows that's real, let me see the likes and the hearts. For those that are on Facebook, thank you for rocking out with us over the next few months. Is our goal over here to get each and every platform that we are on up to 100 subscribers, because the message we are about, if you have not heard it, which we will be reposting all of our early day content over the next couple of weeks, is that we are here to really push our young men and our young women to not be sheep, to get out of the crowd and move forward into greatness, to be the leaders they were called to be, and not the sheep. We have enough sheep, and we want you to be better than that. Salute to all of you again, wherever you are. Tonight is part 2 of Men of Standards, and we're dealing with the topic of check your emotions. In this day and time, it is a growing narrative that men do not understand emotions, whether it be the emotions of a woman or their emotions in terms of expressing that. And I beg to differ. I believe that it is of the stance that in certain cases, for a lot of single men, we just do not feel safe with displaying or relaying our emotions to people. And specifically, it might just be the girl that is walking beside us that we can't trust. It might be the situation where she has gone with you to an outing or a barbecue or your friend's house or your boy's house, and it was just like, oh, well, he be crying over this and he be saying that and he be crying over and you're looking at her like, girl, how you gonna do me like that? How Don't do me like that. Do not do me like that. Don't put all my business out on Front Street. And it's one of those situations where you just feel just a little dead inside. And so, for whatever the reason is, we want to explore why men have to check their emotions, to be in control of those emotions, and to understand spaces and time when they should display those emotions. Without further ado, we are 30 minutes in. Again, you can find us on all platforms. Well, not all platforms, that's a lie. You can find us on some platforms. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Threads, and YouTube at the real underscore SCE. That is DAREALREEL underscore SCE. And we are real people having real conversations about real things. At this time, without further ado, I've been holding him in the back for a little while. He is, and you know what the funny thing is? You know, I'm always really focusing on words, and I focus on the placement of them. And when I remember the first saw this brother pop up on Ilkhan Ali's channel, and we are on the panel. I was like, sophisticated jerk. And it was like, okay, I'm Jamaican, we got jerk chicken, and then people like to, but he really is a sophisticated brother. He really is a sophisticated brother, and you know what? If the season and the situation calls for it, he might just give you a little bit of that, how you're feeling. At this time, without further ado, I bring to the stage Mr. Sophisticated Jerk.
What's good, man? Hell
What's
of an intro.
brother? And I'm working on me being me. You know what I mean?
Nah, I liked it, man. Yeah, them beats was fire too. Did you produce those?
I didn't produce them. There's a couple that I have backstage, and I'm waiting on Facebook to give me a reason to really release a few of them that I do as a musician.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, okay.
so there's a couple beats that I've developed for in the event of I have to switch them. But no, when I got the countdown maker, when I got that, I outsourced that job through Fiverr, and
Oh,
I
okay.
said make sure I said to the person original beat, I don't need it to be copywritten from anywhere.
Yeah, that intro fire, man. You doing your thing, man. But nah, I was listening in the back, man. Great topic. Like you said, man. Definitely communication is important. So I'm glad we carrying on these type of talks and stuff. So yeah, you've been
Well,
cooking on
definitely,
these panels, man, the last couple weeks too. So
I'm learning. I'm learning. It's funny. I went back over the I went back over, I guess it's Wednesdays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays panel. And I'm always critiquing myself. I think that the highest mark of getting to the next level is as Michael Jordan would say, you don't prepare for the moment in the moment, you prepare for the moment in practice. And so I'm sitting there and I'm going back over the whole show, and I put the message in into Will, and I said, man, if you ever ask for a brief answer and I give you a diatribe, stop me immediately. Because I'm sitting there trying to run a clip, and I'm like, man, I can't clip this. This is just one long run-on sentence.
nah, but
So
hey, don't stress it. You had a lot of good things to say, so sometimes, man, it needs to go over. You know what I'm saying? Everything can't fit in those shorts. You know what I'm saying?
that is true. That is true, and I'll take that. I'll take that as a lesson learned. I'll take that most definitely. Yeah, everything that I've kind of sat and kind of built over here, it was for the sole purpose of that way, when I at the time, and at a time like this, when I'm introduced to yourself and we're kind of working on some things, truth, I gotta watch this brother in the background. Okay, I gotta make sure I do him a solid, so I gotta give him the real welcome. So we're not gonna cheap out anybody tonight. We're not gonna cheap out anybody tonight. But as I was saying, in building the platform of the real, the team that I'm working on, from the logo maker to even the people that I selected on Fiverr to do certain things for us over here. It was all within the mind of having um, a brand that is transitional through seasons and times, and a brand that can ultimately people can also find a place where it is a meeting of the minds ultimately. And I want people to be, as Will would say, I would want people to be their authentic self. And we're still building on certain things over here. I don't like my cameras. Point blank period. As I was saying when we were talking in the background that I'm waiting on certain equipment to come in because I believe that execution is required and it's necessary, and the people deserve that wherever they are. And a lot of people that do tune in right now to these episodes that we're building over here, they do it after the fact, and I have no problem with that. And so I always make sure that in the aspect of doing a show that I'm always keeping them in mind for those that are showing in after and not just during. But without further ado, I'm not even gonna hold. You know what? Sophisticated. Should we hold him in the back just a little bit longer?
Nah,
Should
nah,
we
nah.
hold him in
Pull
the
him
back?
up, man. That's that's the homie. You gotta pull him in, man.
I know, right, right. He giving me the finger already. He's just, brother, you don't make me wait back here. This brother, this brother, he started off my week when I didn't even know if I had the energy full in the tank. He is a man of another level of sophistication. He is, and we're talking about one of our army. He has served. As much as I am Canadian, I salute these brothers that have given their life to serve, to make sure that the comfortabilities, the enjoyments of life, they are secure. I salute this brother with my whole heart. Not just, I hate when people say the bottom of my heart. I salute this brother with my whole heart. He is the host and the director and the CEO of the Can I Get Some podcast. Put your
Oh
hands
shit,
together for Mr. Damien.
Dame Dollar.
Oh, what's up, y'all?
Damien.
I'm like, is there somebody behind me? I'm like, who getting that? Like, is there somebody more important about to jump off from behind my chair? I
No, man,
Dame
appreciate you,
Dollar.
man.
it's
Thank you
you.
so much,
It's
man.
you.
It's
It
all
is
love, man.
you.
Appreciate you. Appreciate
Oh,
you.
much love. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for coming through.
It's
Damien,
all
thank you
good.
for being here. Because you know what the funny thing is, the one I'm still on is making sure that I'm giving everybody the appropriate notice to make sure that they have time to allocate themselves if they definitely want to be a part of the episode. And something like this, right now I've got like 3 episodes that are like in part 2 sequence. And and I built it that way because I want to be able to, one, get out all of my, dare I call it, the Alice in Wonderland thoughts, where you just kind of run down a rabbit hole and you're just releasing your raw thoughts. I did that part on the part 1s. And now these part 2s, I want them to be more of a structured conversation where I'm bringing in other minds who can, again, even help me even through my own point of view, but at the same time can enhance the conversation of where we're at, because it's necessary. And as I've always said, that this platform, while we do speak to our women, because we cannot leave them outside of the frame of what we're trying to do as men, but specifically, we are speaking. Yes, it is, brother. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Um, I definitely want to really speak to our young men all across the world from the ages of 12 and up, because there are a lot of young men that are without fathers, that are searching for a male influence that they can gravitate to and that they can glean some foundational principles from. To be transparent, I was one of those young guys. And to be very transparent, and some people might find this kind of different or maybe some aspect of an oxymoron. But well up until in my 20s, I was still a young man trying to search for men that were above me to be able to provide me some intangible lessons to be able to set my foundation. That way, when I was going to get to that place where I could get married and have my own kids, I knew I was going to be leading them in the right direction, and I could have that confidence and I could have that peace of mind. And what I've come to notice is that while I was over here in my side thinking that I was really the only one, the more I spread myself out and got to know people across borders and countries, and even within my own city in doing mentoring, I realized I'm not the only one. Um, I might be the only one that has really gone out on a journey to find other men to yoke with and to get understanding and knowledge from, because I really believe in Proverbs when it says that you become wise based on the counsel that you are able to glean from, and that is able to correct you. And I believe that solely. And so I walk in that, and we walk in that over here in the real. We do not deal in fallacy, but we stay in what's real by reviewing what has happened. And I might not have ever been a rapper, but I love the wordplay. So um I'm you know what, before I go any further, as I respond to the chat, and our brother Will, he's in the chat right now. I know he's a busy man, and he's doing a lot of work behind in the background. And you know, I thank him for bringing me into a place where I could know Damien, where I could know Sophisticated Jerk, where I could the Manic Genius. Can I? Hey, I'm gushing on my brothers tonight because we brothers, we don't get love like this. We don't get. I don't care who says it. I don't care how they feel about it. These brothers are some fine brothers. Y'all ladies sitting there talking about, oh, where the real men at? We're taken. Okay, they're taken. See these two fine you see these two fine brothers right here? They're taken. Okay, Will's next, and Manic. Hey, I'm not.
I think
I
Matt
don't
gonna be
comment
chilling
on
for a
what I'm not
while.
allowed to
We
comment
gotta do
on.
some work on that, brother. We're gonna have to
He
dip
gonna be
him in
chilling.
like some holy water.
He gonna be chilling. He gonna ride that
Will's
wave for a
definitely
while.
Will's together. He'll be next. But yeah, Manic, man, I'm gonna have to like take him to like 10 Bible studies,
He gonna be chilling now.
take him to the Red Sea, and then he might be together. Nah,
He's like, I see you in 3 to 5 years.
yeah.
Oh my days! Stop you guys.
It was funny
Oh,
though.
don't
Last
play.
night on the podcast, Jess was up there. She was like, she kept on calling me Damien. I was rolling with it. Finally,
Why
Paula
not?
was like, Dame's not on the podcast tonight. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. I said, hey, don't worry about it. We're all light skinned. We all look alike.
No, that is for true. That is for true, and that is for sure. Anybody who wants to support, I'm not necessarily asking for it, but if you want to support, you see can y'all tell that I'm just not used to doing this?
It's fine, man. Just
You know what I mean?
You know,
You see the
you're doing your
PayPal.
thing,
you doing something that I had to learn from other people was like, instead of trying to make content, just be the content.
Yeah.
Just it's your personality. That's all. Just keep flowing what you're doing. You're doing your thing, man.
All right. Well, cool. Thank you for that. Y'all see the PayPal link there. If you'd be so kind to give me some of your time while we rhyme on this dime, I thank you. While
Well,
we
if that's
give you the
yourself,
peace
you need to
of my
change
mind.
a little bit. No, I'm just joking. I'm just kidding.
but my boy was struggle streaming in the beginning. I can't even lie to you. My man dropped the link from like 08.
Right? Yo, leave me alone, man. I'm sitting here. I really thought everything was automated, because even like when Will would drop me the links to his to come up on the panel with y'all, I'm just like, I'd be sitting there, be like, why is he sending a new link every time? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, maybe this is just a one-off, and that is just everybody's platform is kind of individual like that. And I was just like, all right. Yeah, StreamYard.
Like Dave said, you learn it. Hey, check it out, man. I was watching some of like Will's old podcast. Will was doing the podcast on beepers and shit. Like what was
Yeah.
it on Zoom? Yeah.
He did
So
a
Will came a long way though, man. Like
yeah.
Hey, shout out to Will, man, because
Well,
you know what? I'm glad I got it. I got in at a time where like StreamYard has kind of changed the game.
mhm.
There's still some things to learn about some of the advancement that they're making, and it's I still feel it's important. Like I said, I was saying when we kind of talking behind the scenes that as much as I know I need and I have certain equipment, like yeah, to be transparent, like even in that picture that I showed you guys, all four of those screens that I be using, that was donated to me by my former company
Oh, okay.
because of the way what they would do is they would upgrade their company, like their equipment every
yeah.
year. So I used to go straight to IT. I'd be like, y'all releasing anything? I got a
I mean, you
podcast. I
don't need
need
a
this.
lot. You mean I didn't spend a whole lot of money, but I'm gonna upgrade to a better mic because I think the quality of it. I just need to get a better vocal quality. But
Mhm.
man, I think when I first started my very first show, I may have spent, I had the low budget StreamYard, and I may have spent on the whole situation maybe $60.
Right, right. Hey,
But
no, got to be efficient.
it's yeah, you gotta you come in there, you build in your niche and like your craft and stuff, like trying to figure out what works for you, what have you.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
exactly.
Yeah, no,
No,
you're definitely the intro, man. Like, look great.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
with Dames, like if you saw like when I was on Dames, I was like, damn, man, am I the only motherfucker out here without no intro?
Hey, that's Canva. I made all that from Canva. All that was
Yeah,
on
no, it look
Canva.
great, man. So now y'all do y'all thing, man. Nah, Conrad, you getting it together.
Yeah,
So yeah, man, shoot, I don't even care no more. I'll be like, look, I'm gonna cut on the camera, the StreamYard, and I'm just going in.
yeah,
They either like it or not. But you do your thing.
no,
yeah.
it's
Where
true.
you?
It's funny that you mentioned that because Canva is where I go for everything. Everything
Yeah,
I do right now, everything I make is through Canva. I mean, whoever came up with Canva, God bless them, because
yeah,
they've been a lifesaver to me for the last 2 years. Like,
yeah.
I
For
mean,
real.
we got a whole season, and I got to. We'll talk about this in the back a little later on, but
Yeah, no doubt.
yeah, I got like a whole 2 seasons worth of content built already.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, and it was with the sole purpose of being, visionary to be able to meet gentlemen like yourself, and Paulo, and Will, without really knowing who you guys were in the beginning. I built it this way specifically that when this time did come around, that I wouldn't just be coming to the table and saying, "Hey, give me what you got. Give me what you got." It's like, nah, I got some things to bring to the table too. You know what I mean? Because I believe that men best served together when we serve each other, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
Nah,
you'll always, regardless if you don't have anything, you got perspective. You got a new perspective, the interesting perspective. You got something that you got new experiences or what have you. So everything contributes to the whole, everybody. And that's what I'm saying. That's why, yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of people in these spaces that can contribute negatively to the whole, but that's one thing that I'm trying to divest from. Like, there's some people I have a lot of respect for, but their content is all about stuff that I can't really get behind. I don't always want to, like, you know, do the gossip thing or always want to talk about like sex and everything like that. And
Mhm.
even though I let some shit slip on the last show. I mean,
Hey,
I could go there if you want to, but it's just like this is what I like. I like the fellowship of men. That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. Men get together, they fellowship, they commiserate, and they come up with some real ideas that could possibly, like, help the next generation of guys, of young men, develop into like husbands, into providers and stuff like that. So
yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
100%. 100%. Now, I will do this at the end of the show or towards the end of the show, because I kind of like that approach. But in case the people didn't hear me when they heard me, what I was saying, introduce yourselves, introduce your platform, and in the back chat, drop me your links because stupid me, I wrote them down and typed them out on a whole different laptop and on a whole different phone. not gonna pull those up right now. So just drop it in the back chat so I can throw it in the chat. I want the people to be able to circulate us.
Okay, hold on.
Damien, go first.
All right, hold on. All right. Once again, my name is Damien, out of Texas, by way of Northern California. I'm a Bay Area cat to the fullest. 49. I'm married for 16 years. Been with my wife 18 years. I run a software sales team, and I do have a podcast called "Can I Get Some Podcast?" Yeah, I just started doing it pretty consistently. I guess 2 weeks in a row. I guess is consistent for me because I'll go like months without doing anything. So I'm a fake ass podcaster. But if anybody wants to get in touch with me, they can go to my IG. Can I Get Some Podcast? It has the link to all my shows there. And I will drop it in the back chat. I just got to pull it up because you can see I'm just like I'm same thing. I don't have it readily available. I got to go find the link
I got you.
and put it in the back chat. All right, in the back chat. I just got to pull it up because you can see I'm just like I'm same thing. I don't have it readily.
Sophisticated, go run on, brother.
Yeah. So just real quick, I'm the Sophisticated Jerk. You could catch me on a Manic Sophistication.
Available. I got to go find the link.
I got you.
And put.
Yeah, so now you see me on Will's channel on the Thursday nights, also on Dame's. He's been consistent now, so I'll definitely pop up on his, and just some background. 44, been married over 20 years, was in the military, then got out and became a procurement executive. So just some quick background and stuff.
Wonderful, wonderful. You know what? Before we get into the topic, and I definitely I kind of as we've been sitting on the last couple of panels, for both of you brothers, how was it serving? A lot of times, and maybe this might be the perfect segue directly into the topic, but a lot of things that is presented in media talks about the soldier, the journeyman who has gone abroad and served and seen so many different things and experienced so many different things, and in some cases has come home rocked to a degree where he's almost like the Rambo, if that makes sense, waiting for something else to pop off, or he's so ingrained into what he was trained to be that he can't separate himself from that or transition from that. How did you guys really find that coming home?
I don't think another one of us was in like any kind of real wars or anything like that. You need my man Mandrell up here. He was a Green Beret. So go ahead,
Okay.
Jerk. Go ahead, Jerk.
Well, I was over in Afghanistan and stuff.
Oh,
but
you did? Oh, my bad.
Yeah. No, it's all good. Shit, I really don't speak about some stuff like that. But I was pretty honestly. I'll say I was detached a little bit because I was just telling somebody. I was like, man, when you up in those like high testosterone, because I was in the Rangers and shit like that.
Oh shit, he was a baller.
But it's just like, man, it's such high testosterone. So man, you just groomed to be like, extra macho type shit. So you just get used to being around people that's like in that, like I said, high testosterone type of fields and stuff. So when I came back, man, I couldn't really relate to a lot of people because I was just so used to being like high strung, always on the go, man. You up in the morning, you exercising, you you sleeping with your weapon pretty much all by you. So it's just like, man, that's your life, man. So the funny thing is, like, even though like those guys are, like I said, extra macho and stuff like that, I was scared to death to be like working in the office and stuff, anything that challenge your mind a little bit.
Mhm.
So I'll put up that facade and stuff. I'll be like, oh man, I can't work in no office. I can't do that school stuff. I'm all about, the infantry, all that type of stuff. So, eventually I had to do that transition when I got out of the military, when I hit that like crossroads. I was like, man, I don't know if I want to do this like type of work, for so long. But once I made that transition, I had to learn how to, interact with like people that wasn't in those fields, because you could use the tough love. So I like the title that you're talking about. It's like check your emotions, man. Like, a lot of those type of dudes, they come into those like civilian type of environments, and they're so used to like barking orders, tough love, that you just can't operate like that. You damn near gonna get fired and stuff. It's inefficient, because you got to do more of like influencing people versus like authoritative. Because in the military, if you don't do what I like your leadership says, you got Article 15s and you could go to jail and stuff. So, those people come out and still try to operate like that. Like, hey, they're wearing the rank still, but nobody cares. They're like, hey, I could quit this job and go work somewhere else. So you got to switch it to where, like I said, you're using more of influence and stuff. So it was a hell of a transition. I had to snap out of that. And then, like I said, once I started kind of getting back into like regulars, I say society, I had to calm down and learn how to actually like, have those conversations with people versus like how I was operating before. Cause, also cussing every sentence, we talk like real derogatory to each other. So,
Mhm.
man, yeah, I had to do like a 360, honestly, like to try to like switch my whole self. Sometimes I still fly off the hinges to try to have fun
Yeah.
and stuff, but, definitely like, being around guys like y'all, man, learning how communication goes definitely helped me out, seeking out like mentorship, people that was like able to give me that feedback. Like, look, man, you need to polish it up a little bit. You sound like an idiot. So,
Yeah.
once I got that feedback, I was able to like make those changes. But yeah, it was a long process though, man. Definitely rough. I'm glad you asked that question.
Yeah, I didn't have it like I was a 4 Fox, which was means I was a flight medic. I used to just hang out
Okay.
with pilots and like give them I used to do their immunizations, and before they went on they flew overseas, I had to give them like all the immunizations, give them their physicals and stuff like that. And I had to like, if there was we were patient transport, like we get on the Hercules, the C-130 Hercules, and like fly from like Hawaii to back to Travis Air Force Base because they had a good burn center. Like, say somebody got burned really bad, and we have to fly with them, and we have to like check their vitals and stuff like that. So I guess my thing was I just became numb to like blood and stuff like that, because I realized like
Yeah.
somebody could walk in front of me with their left arm and their right hand, and it wouldn't bother me as it probably would most people, because I'm just used to seeing those things. And like there's like when you're going through training, they just show some really gruesome videos and stuff like that. Like I've seen some really crazy stuff. I've seen some stuff in person as far as injuries, but I've seen on like training videos some really gruesome shit. And it's just like, and that's what they do. They when you in training, when you in up in Lackland, they show you some really crazy videos. Say if you can make it through this video, you may have what it's take to like do this thing for real, like be in this job for real. But yeah, it was just like mine. I got lucky. I'll be 100% honest. I was one of the few that got really lucky. I got stationed in in Hickam Air Force Base in Hawaii. And then that's where I did all my traveling. My training was in Shepherd in out here in Texas. And then I got to go to Ramstein, I got to go to Guam or what have you like that. And it was just it wasn't as hard. Like I was in the chair for it. So I was in the Air Force. I was an airman. So it wasn't like that. It was like I got to walk around other countries in a flight suit, and people thinking I'm pilot, So it's just like it wasn't as bad as the real military, I guess.
Yeah.
As people like to say it. I think I consider the Air Force just as relevant,
Nah, it is, man.
but myself, I was more in the medical field, so it was more about just like I would see the people that I'd be treating the people like jerk who would come in with injuries and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
all blown up, being
Yeah,
stupid.
I told you, wrap it left to right, not right to left.
You know
But
what the
they
biggest,
oh, go ahead.
the biggest, the most thing we saw the most was injuries, like drunk driving injuries. People be
Jeez.
going to other places and they go into car wrecks, and then we have to fly them back over. We have to fly with them because if you get injured in another country, you have to
Mhm.
fly with a flight med tech over to back to the CONUS, back to the kind of United States. And it's that's the craziest thing. People, all these people get drunk and they drive or they get hit or they get in a fight. Fighting was a big one too. Fighting, up with so many gouged eyes and stabs and punctures and stuff like that from that. That was a big one too.
Nah, it's funny you said that because I was talking to a medic one time. They were like you said, it was like drunk driving, fighting, sprained ankles because of like basketball and stuff, and like back injuries. They're like,
You
man,
know
you
what?
would think like y'all get shot.
Spousal abuse too. A
Oh yeah,
lot of
nah,
people, a
definitely.
lot of wives stabbing their husbands.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was
And you know
wild,
the
man.
thing is, if you sit, okay, so let me say it like this. I'm being a civilian hearing this, okay? If you try to tell me one more time that it is not the same, and to some degrees, yes, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna be hyperbolic. Yes, it may not be the same as literally running down the field with a gun in your hand or being stationary, catching the kilometers of the wind to make sure you're off to the left by a certain degree to make sure that bullet curves. I get it. Okay. But I don't want to see no man come back to me with no eye gouge, dislocated arm. Like, brother, I've been on basketball courts where you know what I mean? I'm running up and down the court trying to do my LeBron James thing and get one good dunk at one end, and another guy goes up and tries to outdo what I'm doing, and he slips and fall, and his arm is in a U shape. That's as much as I've ever wanted to
Well,
see.
the funny thing
Oh,
is,
yeah, facts.
I don't think, and I don't want this to be the whole topic of your thing is that, but that's you. The thing that will get you the worst is a degloving. That is the thing, is where somebody has like, and it's happened before, where somebody will be doing something behind injured turbine or something, and then it rips the skin, it like unfolds the skin off the hands. It's just that is a crazy thing to see. That is, and because you got to dress those wounds are crazy to dress, and that's a
Mm.
crazy thing to like to see. Is somebody who's lost the skin on both of things, the skin grafts and all the stuff they got to do is crazy.
Yeah, that's
It's
why I
that,
couldn't do no medic stuff, man. I give y'all props, man. Is that kind
I'm
of why you
good.
got out of that field, Dame? Like,
Yeah, it was just like, because people asked me when I got out, they was like, well, why didn't you try to go in like a paramedic or something like that, or EMT? I was like, because number one, just to be frank, coming out of it, I was like, they don't pay enough. And the benefit of doing it in the military is because you get, just to be frank, you get pretty cushy stations. Like you get like, because it got to be a hospital in the area, and it's usually in pretty nice places. You get taken care of a lot. There's a lot more chicks in the medical field than any other field in the Air Force. So there's always
Yep.
women around. And, you really aren't in, like, you can get like, there's the rare rarity that you may catch something, but you're really not in the amount of danger that people like Jerk would be in, being like a ranger or what have you. So it's just like, that's why it was. So it was kind of a cush thing to do as a young man. But when I got out, I was like, it wouldn't have been the same outside of the military. It just wouldn't. Paramedics don't get paid a lot. The danger is you are. I mean, you just see a lot more worse shit in civilian life than you ever think than you would during what I would have saw during my time.
Wow. Well, salute to you guys.
I appreciate that,
Because
man.
Yeah, man.
at the
It's all
end of the
good.
day, the aspect of how the mind interprets that, and everything you guys actually said, and Damien, what you're speaking on, and Sophisticated, what you're speaking on, is an exact segue, because on the other side of this, for those that um for however you two were able to be held together from a mental state, and the ramifications that can have on somebody's emotional state, is actually a perfect segue. um we can't, I do believe, as humans, as much as we try to, both men and women, we try to on one hand protect our emotions from massive impact. On the other hand, we don't know what is really going to do to be that force that really breaks down all of our barriers, if that makes sense. You know, I've never been to war. I've seen some things in the streets that I never wanted to see. You know, myself coming from more or less of a sheltered background. My grandmother is a pastor, still a pastor to this day. My grandfather was an elder right beside her. And they worked for their community, they worked for their church. And I saw what they went through on the emotional side, also trying to balance that with, you know, trying to make sure that they're giving their kids enough attention while everybody else's kids in the community is also calling for their attention. And I saw the emotional effects that that had on the home in that kind of regard. But, you know, blessings to you guys for what you've come through. No matter how you saw it, you saw it. No matter how you experienced it, you experienced it. And I think that's the thing that we men need to do more of as times progress on. I think in certain cases that we get too caught up in saying that you know, men need to control their emotions, men need to control their emotions, men need spaces to control their emotions too. And we need to be able to find dare I would say kindred spirits that are able to help instill a balance, if that is fair to say, so that way we can have better outcomes. Y'all hear that?
What is that?
I don't know.
I hear that now. It's like you beating the drum
that
or
was
some
me.
shit.
Yeah.
No, that was me. That was me. I could have swore I thought I heard somebody like breathing in the background somewhere because I was just
Jerk, you in the hotel, Jerk?
Yeah,
he
yeah,
in
yeah. I'm
the
up in
hotel.
Nashville and stuff. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I
that's
was
why I
trying to
try to
say
mute up because there's a lot of fire, you know, sirens and stuff in the background and
it's
stuff.
all
Okay,
good.
no. We even when you were unmuted, we weren't hearing that. But I'm sitting there and I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't know if it's my setting on my mic or what have you, but I'll figure that out. You know what? Okay, before we get into the topic, Will said he wanted me to yo can I say this on the live? I really appreciate brothers from afar and brothers from near. Like, you know who your brothers are when they can look at you and see something about you and make it a joke and you don't get offended. So Will sent uh, Will sent me probably the second, guess we say, support or a second super chat without being in the part of the program since I've been live streaming and been on panels and even doing my own panels. So first of all, let me just get this out the way.
Hold on, quick shout out to Big Dog Barking. Shout out to Gas Mask.
Yeah.
Oh
Shouts.
snap, gas mask. Okay. Yo, shout out. Yes. Big Dog said what's good. We hear Big Dog. Hopefully, hey, do me a favor, Big Dog, or whoever's in the chat. Somebody shout out what's the other brother's name? Devil's Advocate. Somebody shout out Devil's Advocate. I forgot to add him in there and shout him out.
DA. What's up, Dave?
DA, yeah, Dave. Yeah, if he's around, if he's up, if he's sleeping, somebody call him and wake him up. I don't care. Tell him it's my fault. But tell him I said what's up. Will said he sent through the big $50 ball, and again he sent through the. Did you all hear that?
Well, that was me. Maybe my mic is too high because I just I know that was me right there.
No. Did y'all hear the sound effect?
No, we didn't hear it.
Okay, so I'm just hearing that on my side. Okay.
I thought my
All
mic
right,
was
well,
super. I just like scratched my leg. I'm like, damn, you hear me scratch my leg? My mic is way too sensitive.
Yo, it's okay. That lets me know. Okay, so there's one more piece of equipment I got to, and you know what? Paulo should have dropped his link so we could push some business his way for anybody who's doing any type of live streaming.
Paulo
Paulo had a link. He don't do that. He's just
I know. I'm not talking to his channel. I'm talking about his business.
Oh, he's in New Zealand. You know that, right?
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
He does construction. So Paulo he said you'll catch him on Will stuff because I was thinking the same thing like you're thinking, Conrad. I'm like, man, we gotta support this dude, man. He's pretty ill. But Paulo's like, look, you find me right here.
But before I get into Will's comments and his support, I remember
Did
the
you
first
drop the link into the Masculine Man thing that we got. The
Yeah,
Masculine
I'll
IG.
I'll put it in there.
Okay.
That way, if Joe
Uh,
want to come or Apollo or
let me
if Matic
actually.
out there running the streets,
It's,
probably it's Friday night as a single
stop,
man.
Yeah,
stop, stop
boy,
it,
wow.
stop. I'm gonna
You
post
gotta
the
read that
link.
Will comment though. I'm kind of interested what he said. What he said, you gotta get a new mic.
No. He said the mic's fine. The mic is fine. The mic is fine. Will is the ultimate brother. He's a real brother, like from the blood, brother. Yo, this is
Yeah.
one thing I dislike about StreamYard in certain cases.
Will, are you going to California in May? I mean, not Will. Jerk, are you going to see Will in May?
Yeah, whenever he gives me that date, I think it's gonna be around May.
Yeah. He what you call it? Yeah, because I was just there. I've been on the show twice in studio.
Yeah, I saw one of the old videos. I went back and I started going through the rabbit hole, and
Yeah,
I went and pulled up a lot of old videos of all of y'all, really, so that way I can kind of see what was done beforehand and where everybody's coming from. I just reposted the link in the
there you go.
chat and I started. So yeah, throw that in the Instagram group chat if they're around. Prime, any of them, jump up. Definitely wanting to have them there. And Big Dog, if you're around and you're not busy right now, jump up. Yes, let's get, before I do this, I want to get Will's in the chat and want to get Will's link. Trust me. So it's funny, actually. Actually, no, I'm not going to give this away. I'm gonna wait till next show, and when you guys see it happen, you should be like, okay, I see you making advances. Yeah, it was something that I was thinking about it while I was in the office today, and I'm kind of sad that I didn't do it now. Okay, so on to Will again, main supporter for tonight's show with the big $50 ball. Will, he didn't just ask me to read this. He asked me to read this with a laughing out loud. Okay, he says showing support to go towards your camera so you can cam up. Laugh out loud. Oh my days. Oh my days. And you know what the funny thing is? Like I said, I'm picking up my camera tomorrow. So this really is gonna go towards the camera. And I'm gonna be doing some software work. Just before we now segue into the topic, um, for the aspect of everybody who doesn't know, this show will be running now every Friday. um, you will see a revolving panel, and specifically, as much as the brothers here are there available. They will be rotating on the schedule probably every week as long as they're available, because I'm still setting a foundation over here. And while we all work together, I want to make sure to the young men across the world that I'm trying to reach wherever you are. I want you to know that you have a big brother over here in Canada. And while I might not know your face, and while you may not know mine, at least not for right now until I get a good camera, I am definitely rooting for you to get the best outcomes, for you to have some thoughts and maybe some principles passed on to you the same way my grandfather instructed me to do before he died. And that's exactly what I'm trying to live up to.
Yeah.
Without further ado, I should say, we've gotten the foundation laid. Tonight we are going to be talking about checking your emotions as men of standards, as men of principle, foundational men, as I like to say. I believe it is imperative that we check our emotions, because when men don't check our emotions, for ourselves at least, there's a lot of things that can be around us, whether it's family, friends, business, opportunities that can be lost. And what I've come to learn in specifically within the last 10 years, the more men that I've seen not check their emotions is the more men that I've seen lose. And even for myself, and I'll kind of start off here with kind of an anecdotal experience. When I was just getting this platform together in terms of ideas and what the logo was going to look like. There was a brother that I had linked up with, not the one I referenced on the other show about crying over his side chick, but a but a different brother. And I talked to him about what my vision was, and he loved it, and said that he had a lot of great ideas and things that he felt that could be complementary to what we were doing. So as I said, that would be great. The one thing I told him is I said, I'm very strict on business. And you have to understand what we're doing in this first part is business. Laying a foundation of this platform is all business right now. And I had a girl who her father, even till this day, still works at the local TV station, one of the top TV stations in Toronto. And by all means, she brought more to the table than he did. But because he was first dibs as who I recruited, I made sure that he was understanding of where I was going and why I was bringing her in. He took a liking to her, and I turned to him and I said, look, I can't tell you who to date. I can't tell you who to like. I can't tell you who to love. I can't tell you who not to not have sex with. But I will tell you, as long as you're a part of this platform and a part of this business, you two, it's not going to work if you guys are having conjugal visits, so to speak. And because if you all two break up and it messes what the platform is trying to become, I'm not even willing to accept any excuses from anybody. And at that point, it doesn't matter who brings more to the table than the other. I'll cut both of you. We can be friends, but as far as business goes, you guys won't be able to be involved in this regard. So when I said that to him, he was like, yeah, man, don't worry. I got it under, but got it. We men, thumps his chest and gorilla grunts. Exactly 2.5 to 3.5 weeks later, that same brother fell apart on everything so bad, so that the company we were working for let him go. And then all the girls started coming out the woodwork on him. And everything that I had warned him about to be careful of, that was specific to him being able to advance, he lost it all. And then he went on his kind of emotional rant and started blaming everybody that could not directly impact what he was doing or stop what he was doing. He blamed all of us. And I look back at that and I said, if he was able to control his emotions, it's not even about building the platform. If he was able to just control his emotions, based on what he felt like he wanted to do or act or just reach out to in terms of women, he wouldn't have lost his job. He wouldn't have had to lie to his mom or anything like that. He would have been all right. So the first aspect of this topic, in terms of checking your emotions, what does that mean to you guys? And Sophisticated, I'll have you go first on that one. What does checking your emotions mean to you?
Yeah, no, I think I like the scenario you laid out because like if you're a man and you don't check your emotions, and I've seen it numerous times. Like just thinking back to some current situations, like I manage a lot of employees, so like there's a couple guys very emotional, get into it either like you said they start having relations with females like at their job, or trying to talk back to their boss, whatever, end up getting fired and stuff. So, those type of guys, not only do they put themselves at risk, but typically they put their family at risk. So, I know a lot of times we all talk about legacy and stuff. So it's just, when you make moves like that, you're sitting there pretty much sabotaging, your success when you make rational decisions. So, if you look up the word emotional, versus, or you look up emotions versus logic, a lot of times, like people that operate based on their emotions, they're making terrible decisions. They're not thinking about like the long term effects or impacts that, being emotional could cause and stuff. So, yeah, no, I think check your emotions is critical for, what we talk about masculine men, because it's just, it keeps you reined in. It keeps you in line with your goals, your those standards and principles that we talk about. Is like I'll say that one of the main ingredients to keep you focused and stuff, keep you in line with those things. So yeah, nah, definitely, I say keeps you grounded. It's like that. If you're looking like at a house, that's your foundation, keeping your emotions in check. Because without that, you're going to be lashing out, whether, like I mentioned before, your boss, you're female. If you don't interact with her properly, she's not going to look at you as like a good leader. And eventually she might move on. Your kid's going to have like a bad relationship with you because they're going to see you as an emotional person. They're not going to have that trust in you to come to you, console in you, or get that counsel, based on different things that they might lead in their life. So yeah, nah, it definitely has major impacts all across the board. Sorry, I was rambling, man, because nah, this is a great topic because I like how Dame a couple of days ago he was talking about communication, and I think you're checking your emotions ties into that. So no, I love this topic.
No, that's facts, man. There's no rambling over here, at least not right now. We still building. We still new. I'm like me and Damien in the same group, man. We in the same group. We building over here, so there ain't no rambling right now. At least not right now. Damien, what do you think about that? What does checking your emotions mean to you?
You're on mute, Dave. I know he
Sorry about
cooking too.
that. Because somebody was coming to my office. Checking an emotion to me means that uh, you are the person that's in control where your emotions are focused at. Like the thing about men's emotion is if you haven't done the work to try to like keep them in check, they can be easily focused in different ways. One a perfect example is how many men are in the penitentiary or in the grave because somebody said, "I'm gonna go get my brother."
Mm,
You know,
yeah, it's a good point.
somebody was able to focus their emotion in a negative way. How many men find themselves in a situation where they're in court for domestic violence because they were allowed themselves to be triggered to where somebody focused took control of their emotions and focused it in a direction where they led to them doing something violent to a spouse or a friend or a coworker or something like that. Um, I think so. To me, I feel like checking your emotion is making sure that your emotions are always being focused in a direction to build instead of destroy. You know, if like we had a conversation on Will's panel about what happens like if you lose your job, okay, you use that emotion of fear, anxiety, stress, all that stuff as fuel for action, making sure that the action that that has been facilitated by your emotions is one that's going to build and is in a positive direction. Like you lose your job, all right, now I got to get on this. I got to get on LinkedIn, build my profile back up, find another job. Your girlfriend leaves you. Okay, I need to sit back and think about what have I learned from that? How can I be accountable and learn from the things that went wrong in that relationship, and then make sure I don't have those same issues in my next relationship. I think you got to be able to focus it in a way that helps you become more, not less. And that's the kind of way I feel about checking emotions.
No, facts. That is facts. Because and this is just my opinion, based on anecdotal experience. I haven't witnessed personally too many men lose themselves in the emotions of either a loss or dealing with money. Actually, no, I wouldn't say money, but I'll say legitimate legal business. You know what I mean? I haven't seen somebody be like, "Oh snap!" Like I'm like they're frazzled or they're fragmented based on business not going well. I haven't witnessed that personally. I know different stories. I've seen movies, right? But the majority, the number one base, as we said it, as you said it, and you hit it right on the head in terms of a thought that I had was that first of all, we have too many men in the streets, and then by that segueing to jail because of emotions. And I want to give you guys another story. In my time when I kind of was being my rebellious self and kind of thinking that, the streets was something to glorify up here in Canada. Um, there was a me and this one brother, we kind of got into it over how he would either respect or disrespect the men in front of other women that he felt that he should have had access to because he was a DJ and he was the man. And
Dirty
so,
backing. Ugh.
yeah. So we're coming back home from the club one night, and retroactively, I'm looking back on it now, and it's the same thought then. It's just like, dude, you're the DJ. If anybody should have had all the women, it should have been you. If anybody should have been passing off girls, it should have been you. However, it was the adverse. He was the DJ. He didn't leave with no girls, and we were all taking the bus home. So at the back of the bus is the whole crew. And, there's a couple of us that really didn't have no girls that night. But the one person I didn't expect to not have no girls was him. So we're on the bus now, and he's like, okay, so who am I sleeping with tonight? So I look around and I'm looking at all the guys who have girls, and I'm like, oh snap, this is about to be spicy. Somebody about to get punched in their face because there's no way he could be talking to me. And he goes over and he's like, well, ain't nobody coming back over to my house if I'm not getting freaky tonight. So we all went back to the house. And I'm downstairs and I'm like, yo, Amanda, you guys, y'all want some food? I'm about to cook up some food. I'm hungry. It's 3:00 in the morning. I'm hungry. We clearly ain't going to bed tonight. So I'm hungry. Every man's like, yeah. Let's all whip up some food. So we going on. I'm like, yo, DJ, follow me right quick. Got down in the kitchen. I said, bro, I don't care who these guys are, and I don't care what they allow you to do. In my presence, you are to never disrespect the mandem because you feel that your access to sex is either limited. I'm like, you're the DJ, bro. You should have had girls with you in the DJ booth. That's way when we left, you could have said, hey, brother, do you want a girl? Do you want a girl? You've been like Oprah. You get a girl. You get a girl. You get a girl. Nah, you're sitting there like, I'm so lonely. And just the whole night DJing, spinning your little turntables. And now you want to come back and get disrespectful? I'm like, dude, I'm your homie, but I'm also not the one. Check that right now. Because where I come from, some other brothers would have checked you. And trust me, walking home wouldn't have been something you would have been doing.
It wouldn't have been possible. You want to pull up Paul Professor's comment so we could dive into that?
Yeah. Let's see, Paulo. Actually, you know what? Let me show it. I forgot. I got technology. I was about to say gonna be old school and read it. Paulo says men's emotions is similar to that of a traveling river versus women is almost like a network of emotions that they tap into simultaneously. The danger is most men are sunk by their inability to navigate. I agree.
Yeah. And that, remember I was talking about communication and on my panel, and it was saying how women can switch to different emotion. I gave the example, like if they were to sit there, you found out your kid was hurt, and like, they can, to men, it seems psychotic that you can switch to different emotions just like that. And all of them have the same degree of value and intensity to the woman, which is crazy to me. And that's exactly right. It's like, that's one thing that we don't know how to do, but it doesn't really serve us to do that. Now that I'm thinking about it, doesn't really serve us to be, because we need to be definitive, and we need to, if we're gonna crash the car in the wall, we're gonna crash the car in the wall. We're gonna go head first into it and make sure that we need to be decisive and definitive. We can't be wishy-washy and all over the place and stuff like that. So yeah, what he's saying makes perfect sense. Women be able to tap into different emotions at a moment's notice. And we kind of, like you said, get stuck on the whichever way our emotions is flowing. That's what we're going for a while. That's exactly what I said on the podcast, on my show.
Dave, what was that question you asked all of us? The one I was the only one that was right on. Let me throw that out there just to.
On my show?
Yeah, it was one because damn, who was on my almost on my side? I think Will was almost there, and then he jumped off at the last minute. Damn, I forgot what question you asked because
Was it
it was
who's better at reading social cues?
yeah. There you go.
I mean,
Yeah,
no, nonverbal cues. Who's better with nonverbal cues,
Yeah,
men
I
or
think it's
women?
the
And you,
women. Because
yeah,
Comrade,
it's
you said the women too, right?
yeah. No, I did say I was gonna say men, but I did say end up saying women are better at reading social cues than men.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, and it's just yeah, it's I don't know. We're built differently. We're built to be. We're big picture. Women are fine. Uh, fine part. They're like the finite shit in most
Yeah.
cases.
Yeah, I have to change my answer because at first I think I was just thinking like all the like that comedian that clip you pulled up where he was like, oh they'll make all that noise and stuff, but that would be verbal pretty much. Like you can spot that. That's
Well,
obvious.
but first they do the like stuff like
Yeah,
that, which is like they're not actually talking. They're just emoting physically.
yeah.
Right.
So
You
that's why I
know.
was mixing that stuff up. I was like, they do that a lot more, but nah, like definitely, it kind of when Paulo's statement. I liked it, but it did make me think about that. I was like, yeah, you guys were right. Women do switch up a lot, but they are good at spotting those cues and stuff. But guys, we are pretty like steadfast on our emotions.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. And I mean, before I pull up Paulo's next comment, because it is actually relates to something that I wanted to bring up as one of the subtopics or kind of subcategories of checking our emotions. Um, in that aspect of social cues, it's I looked at it like when I gave you the answer, when I gave you the answer, Damien, it was kind of like the aspect of how do I put this? The aspect of women have that kind of that nuance of the quote unquote double standard of social calibration. I kind of look at that because we all socialize to a high degree, but when men socialize, it's actually focused on a thing, right? Like even
Mhm.
how I look at it is how we've come together. As much as like, okay, I saw Damien on one of Ali's panels. I kind of sat back, was able to kind of hear him kind of interact with the other panelists that were on that show. Sophisticated Jerk as well, Paulo as well. I think the only two people that I never met, three if you include Prime, the only three people that I never met through well, Big Dog and Devil's Advocate as well. The only three people, those are the only people aside from the Manic Genius, and Prime. Right, I never met them on Ali's panel. So, like, when I look at our social calibration, we're gonna pick up on social cues based on how the event or how the atmosphere was constructed. Women are kind of more like they're everywhere at any given time, right? Because of how they're going to be social calibrated with their friends. They could never want to go somewhere else. Oh, girl, I don't want to go to that podcast. Well, girl, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna need your support, right? And
There's
they're just going to be there because of happenstance.
absolutely there's one social cue that I think men are far better at reading than women ever be, and that is danger.
Hmm.
Oh yeah,
That is the thing that like I think women have the luxury, if especially if they have a man, to be a luxury to be oblivious to impending or possible the possibility of danger. When I go out with my wife, she just going around. I'm like, hold up, you know.
Please, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I'm looking at everybody. I'm like, yeah, that dude got his hand in his pocket. What's up? What's up with that? You know?
Hmm.
Oh yeah, they in each other's face. Oh, hold up, let me get behind me. Get behind me. Let me just make sure shit's straight. You know? That
Yep.
kind of stuff. It's just like we're into, because that's one thing because I think that's one thing that's kind of ingrained to us as men, is that we know that in any interaction with a man, there is a, however small a component, there's a possibility of violence with
Hmm.
any other male, because we're just conditioned that way. We
Right.
know that, I've seen best friends be laughing one minute then fighting the next. I've seen
Right.
total strangers want to get into crazy bar fights because somebody knocked over somebody's drink. There's always the possibility of violence there. So men are hyper aware of that, you know. So that's one thing I think we really, but anything else related to like, you know, we don't pick up on people flirting with us or people that are uncomfortable in a lot of situations as easily as women might.
Right, right. And you actually you touched on something. Just to kind of go back before we kind of move move on from this place where we're at this topic. But like doing, as you mentioned about men having to be aware of danger, that is our solo a social calibration in itself. I think I don't know how or when it starts. I don't know if it's I can say it's through grade school as early as that. You know, like I know for myself, for me that's kind of when it started, because I wasn't the most popular kid, and oftentimes I'm not the guy who's going to run with the pack just because all the pack is moving left. I'm going to be like, okay, y'all, there's a cliff over there. Y'all dangling pretty close to that cliff. So I'm going to sit back over here on the right side. And, you know, that oftentimes that kind of left me to be ostracized. And I grew to accept that. But to get back to your point about being aware of danger, I remember one time here in my hometown, there's a rib fest that goes on every summer. And every summer it gets shot up. So this one
Sounds like
every year, I
Oakland.
kid you
You said
not,
the
I
Rib
kid,
Fest.
yeah, at the Rib Fest, and we're talking like these loose ball guys, broad daylight, like they're not even waiting for the nighttime part of the Rib Fest to hit. It's daytime. So I finished work at like 5 p.m. one day, and my wife's like, "Oh, I'm gonna meet you here." Now, where she was gonna meet me was the nearest mall, which was exactly 50 feet from this Rib Fest. So I
Yeah.
said, all right, cool. Meet me here. Now, as I go to meet her, I'm walking through the mall and my radar is on 1,000. I'm looking to the left, I'm looking to the right, I'm checking my for you guys, I'm checking my 6, I'm checking my 9, I'm checking my 10, I'm checking my 1. I'm checking all my angles because I don't trust this atmosphere because it's Rib Fest time. And as I walk in, I look to my right, I see a group of young guys. I clock one guy's holding a baby 9mm. All right, cool. All right. I go as I go on about 10 feet, I see the head of security. Now, me and him is friends from my days when I used to work in the mall. So I greet him, ask him what's up, how's everything going? He goes, "Oh man, you know how it is. It's Ribfest time. It's crazy." Cool. Walk downstairs. Another guy's, you know, arguing with security. Happen to know the guy, break it up. Okay, cool. Move on. As I'm going to meet my wife in the parking lot, I see another group of young guys. Now, 3 of these brothers got handles on them. I'm just like, oh man, my wife's coming with the kids. I immediately told my wife, I said, don't come in the mall. Matter of fact, you can't come in the mall. Park on the southwest side and meet me out front, and I will come to you. But why? We got to use the bathroom. I said, no,
Yeah.
meet me on the south. I go outside now, meet her. I said, we're going to go to a whole nother mall, a couple kilometers away. The next day, local gunshots had
I
rang
knew you
off
were gonna
at
say that on the
local big
news.
Rib
Somebody shot.
fest. And one man was shot and injured, taken to the hospital. 2 others were non-life and threatening injuries. And all I could do is I'm sitting on the couch just looking at her like, pardon, what'd you say? Pardon? She's like, well, how did you? It happens every year. I would be remiss not to go into an atmosphere where danger happens every year at the same time and
Yeah,
not notice that this is going to happen.
that's crazy. Hey, do you want bring up Paula's? I don't want to because this. I think he's
Yeah,
talking
yeah, yeah.
about exactly what we're talking about. The last one.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Um,
bring it up right now.
Yeah, Conrad, you was tripping going to a Rib Fest, man. You got to
yeah,
go
you
to
knew it
like
was gonna
the
get shut
Bagel
up. That's like
Fest.
I wasn't
festival.
going to the Rib Fest. I was going to meet my wife. It
Okay,
just happened to be near the Rib Fest,
Oh, okay, I got
and
you. I
she
got
okay,
you.
wanted to
got
go
you,
into the
got you.
mall. I was
Okay,
Okay,
I was on high alert. I was like,
yeah.
okay,
There's a thing
maybe
called
just maybe you can come into the mall. But then when I saw the crowd in the mall,
Festival
knowing
at the
that they
Lake.
were
We
going
had
to
this
the
thing
Rib
in
Fest,
Oakland called Festival at the Lake. We knew it was like there's 2 things you can guarantee. It was going to be a bunch of bad females there, and it was going to be get shot up. Somebody shoot somebody. I mean, telling you. All right. Okay. No, not that. Well, this one too. We can, but I'm talking about the last one.
Okay, because I was gonna say let's get to that one secondly, but
Okay.
yeah,
This is, however, an instinct that both. I agree. I agree with you, Paolo, that both men. But I do strongly feel that when they've been around a man who provides the vast majority of the protection, or even in their presence when a man is with them, they can lose a little bit of that instinct. That instinct kind of atrophies, and then it's usually the man that feels like he needs to hyper compensate for the fact that she can be ever like a little bit, because I don't know, maybe it's just my wife, because my wife, like, she is just, I'd be like, baby, you don't see what's going on over there, and she'd be like, oh, I didn't even see that, that's kind of shit. I just feel like, but I feel she's capable of detecting danger when I'm not with her. Like if she's out with the children,
right.
I'm sure she's like, on
On it,
top of it.
yeah.
But I just feel like when a man is providing significant safety, they live in an era of things are safe. Her world is safer than might actually than she might know, or is a high degree of safety, so she doesn't recognize danger right off, or what have you, if
No, I
it's just
agree.
her by herself.
Right, right. Like I'll give you guys one more story. This one I always lean on experience between my wife. So we go into movies. This is shortly after we had just got married, and um so we go to the movies one night and we sitting there waiting for the movie to start, and uh a guy comes through the movie theater now. He's got Tim's on, I mean, classic attire, but the Tim's was too big for him. So, and he ignorant and he's drunk. So as he's walking up, he's just talking beer smack. He's like, yo, where's my seat? Nobody better be in my seat. I swear I'll slap the first person that's in my seat, yada, yada, yada. But the thing that struck me is not what he was saying, because I knew he was drunk, is how he was walking. And and my wife was getting irritated. She's like, yo, who is this ignorant fool trying to walk up in the movie theater? And I looked at her and said, look, don't just think just because you're with me that you can incite danger. I don't feel like getting shot today. She's like,
Yeah.
you don't know anything. You don't know him. He don't have no gun. I'm like, do you know that for sure? She's like, look at him. I'm like, babe, let me explain something to you. Okay. You see a man drunk at this time of the day walking through a movie theater with oversized Tim's on and jeans that is held up. That when you see young guys with the belt and they have the extra holes that didn't come with the belt poked in the belt. Yeah, he had one of those on. And I was just like, his jeans was like he was on MC Hammer Time jeans. Yeah,
Hey,
I mean,
Jerk,
parachute pants.
Jerk, if we see the black Air Force Ones.
Yeah. I would have been out of there.
No, I think what happens is like the situation. Like, I remember that's reminiscent of a story, like, and it's actually Andrew Tate who was telling this story on somebody's show. Somebody was interviewing him. He was saying how him and his girlfriend at the time, and this is a fighter, a world-class fighter, was waiting for, like, it was after a club or something like that, and they had like a street vendor or whatever that everybody goes to. He said these three dudes got out this Audi, pushed past everybody, and went up to order the food. And his girlfriend at the time was like, they just cut in front of us. Aren't you going to do nothing? And he was like, you need to shut up. He was like, don't say a word or what have you. And he's like, and this is a man who can fight. So it's not a punk thing. It's not like I'm what you call it. Most men will defend you if they come to you. They're going to absolutely defend you. But is your life not worth the 10 extra minutes it's going to take you to get your taco? And that's what a lot of women I don't think understand. And he said he didn't say nothing, but the guy, like, two people in front of him did say something. He said, and they beat the shit out of that dude and didn't even spill their food. Like, beat him bad and didn't even like spill his food. Got in the car, left. And he was just like, he's like, women, it's like, he was like, that's the difference between a woman who has a man that provides significant safety. You don't realize you could die over a taco.
Yeah,
it's just that serious.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that. I'm not. Like, I there's been times where, like, we be walking in just simple public places, and it's like something flash across my face or flash in my mind, and my wife catches me shaking my head, and she's like, "What?" I'm like, "I just saw danger." She's like, "Where?" I'm like, I can't explain it to you now. Like, I gotta wait to come home from this trauma because I just saw the whole situation unfold had I acted a way that you think I should act rather
Yeah,
than
but you shouldn't
versus
tell her
me.
that, man. Unless it's danger where you need her to make a move.
True
My goal
enough.
is to have my wife live in a world where not she knows dangers out there, but she knows that I'm
Keeping
even
her
though
from
even I'm railing against that, I'm acknowledging it doesn't mean that I'm not guilty of it. I want to provide a situation. I think most men do, a situation where their wife has the freedom and the latitude to be kind of oblivious of danger because you've handled it. Like, say for example, if like in that situation, it could be just like, yeah, you because then she's gonna worry about you every time you come, you going, you comings and goings and shit like that. I've been in many a
True.
dangerous situation. My wife knows nothing about, and she's been in close proximity in some of them. I've been to, like, when I was a club promoter and stuff like that, and every now and then the dude who I was my old business party set would have a birthday, and we'd go. And once there was a dude I knew I had beef with. And it was a dangerous situation because he said it was just me and her because I had stopped. It was just me and her, and he was with like 8 dudes. And I'm like, this is what situation. So, you know, I kind of watched his move and stuff like that. And then I end up just like bumping into him and stuff like that, or just saying what's up to him. And he was like that. And then we just ended up chopping up. He had long since let the beef go. And I didn't even know because we knew, we didn't spoke. I know he was like, fuck that shit. That shit was dumb, but I didn't know it was going to go that route. It was like, I just know him and his friends came in and it was just like, okay, this could go a different route, but let me just make sure that, like, you're always behind me, baby. Like, my body is in front between you and his group of friends all the time, and it's just like, so it's just like she had knew nothing about it. To this day, she knows nothing about it. But it's just one of those things, though. It's like, I feel like if you effectively, if they started coming toward me, want to fight, then she needs to understand when I say duck, don't be like, why? What's happening? Because then you shot.
Yeah.
Then you shot.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that, Dave. Yeah, that's a good scenario.
My wife she knows if I say duck, drop down, drop down on all fours. Drop down, seriously.
Hey, let me. Can I ask you guys a question real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't want to take it off this, but since we're talking about this, I know we're talking about like social interactions, but do maybe I'm off base, man. Y'all let me know, man. So I'm gonna just pose it to you guys. Do you think women are actually more socially calibrated when I know in like numerous conversations they'll be like, I was manipulated by this guy, and when we start asking them questions, the guy damn near like had a GED. He wasn't the brightest dude. I mean, he like had a C in like psychology class, but they'll be like, I was manipulated by this guy. Are they
Can I
really
jump
that
in there? Can I
socially
answer first, Conrad?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't want to take over your show. Can I answer it first?
No. Go ahead. Because
right.
This is exactly where I was going to segue to. So this is perfect.
Okay. Did you see the movie Hustle and Flow with Terrence Howard?
Yes.
Yeah, classic.
Okay, that's one of my favorite shows. I love what's called it. Here's a scene where what's her name? Anna Faris says, I know when you playing with my head because I let you, because sometimes my head needs to be played with. That's what a lot of women do. They allow you, they know you're playing with their head, they know you're full of shit, but there's something else that they find appealing or attractive or irresistible about you. They allow you, like the women who get with dudes with 8 baby mamas. They know in somewhere in their head that this is not a smart thing. To what if I get pregnant and I'm a religious person and I don't believe in abortion? I am going to be with somebody who has, I'm gonna be baby mama, and there's something that, but they allow themselves, they allow that person to play with their head because their head needs to be played with in order to function in that space, in order to, stay where they at, to live in the fallacy of the situation. So that's why I think that it's like, I don't think women are, because they're just so, women pay attention to way much, and their brains are a lot more developed than ours. I think as far as like that part of it, but it's just like I don't think all these women are out there getting gamed up by the dudes with 8 baby mamas. It just didn't happen, and they're allowing themselves to do that because there's something attractive and irresistible about that person.
Okay. So
What about you,
you think
Conrad?
to it? Oh, go ahead, Conrad.
No, go ahead,
I asked
brother.
follow. No, I was gonna say. So you think in a sense like based off what you're saying, they know what they're doing, but it's kind of like the manipulation element is like an excuse pretty much for them.
Yeah, basically
Just
what it is when it goes wrong, they need a way to where they don't look, they can minimize their culpability. They can minimize the likelihood that people gonna look at them really stupid. Like, you're dumb, you did this to yourself.
oh,
They
okay.
Mhm.
can garner sympathy by making it seem like something else was done to them
To
instead
them.
of they were contributing to that shit.
That's facts. Okay, shit.
Yeah. If I could, if I don't even know if I want to say I would piggyback off of that, but I agree with everything that Damien said for the sole purpose of the next two kind of sub points that I was getting to, which was self-awareness and then understanding of self, right? It is in my own observation, I have played the and we're gonna read again Paulo's next comment because I think this is right where it really fits for this point right here. There have been times where I have literally conducted my own case study using myself and the women that I've interacted with when I was single to say, okay, I'm going to talk to these two women with utter manipulation. I'm gonna give them the as Paulo was saying here. I'm gonna give them the gift of gab. I'm gonna give them the salesman approach. I'm gonna give them the loony that's or the dollar that's not really a dollar. It's chocolate, and I'm gonna see if they try to cash it out. And then these two women over here, I'm gonna be completely honest with them about who the hell I am, and I'm gonna see if their responses are different. Now, two women I'm lying to, two women I'm telling the truth. Are there are do they have enough understanding of what I'm really saying to them to shift their end reaction? And what I've actually experienced is that there's not too many women that actually do shift their action or reaction, whether you're lying or telling the truth, because of what Damien just said. That self manipulation, right? That aspect of you can't really be. I've had a girl, I said, girl, listen, you just gave me the blueprint to your draws. And now I don't want anything but that. You lying. I know you that's not you. We've only talked on the phone, ma'am. We have not gone out. You've barely seen me in person. You might know of me, but you don't know me. Now, I know you. Manipulation. Now, the other ones I lied to. Oh my gosh, I can't. I've been, where have you been all my life? I ain't nothing but tinfoil, chocolate wrapped in tinfoil, ma'am. You cannot cash me in. 2 weeks later down the road, a month later down the road, I can't believe, ma'am, the lies didn't make sense. They really didn't.
Yeah.
I'm not that great of a liar. I'm not even going to toot my own horn. They're not really that great. They sounded good in the moment because they were a bunch of words wrapped in charisma. That's what it really was. And you allowed yourself to some degree, you bought in. You willingly said this makes sense. So I have one set of women that have literally tried to say, you're not who you're portraying to be. The truth is a lie, and the lie is the truth.
Okay.
Kills me.
Hey, Tiffany
Kills me.
K.
Tiffany K. She is. Oh, I on it, man. This is one of those times where I really wish I had my soundboard on point. I didn't even realize I was one piece of software away from being one piece of software away. But shout out to Tiffany K. She is a long. Well, she hails out of I believe Dallas, Texas. I'm not trying to give out her location. I guess that's just for me. Holla if you hear me. But Tiffany K, longtime supporter, good time friend. She's always throwing ideas at me, and she's always a supporter, whether it's just me and her in the building or she's rocking out with a whole bag of us. And tonight she's rocking with the dogs. She's rocking with the fellas. Salute to you. Oh, South Carolina. There
You're
we
all
go.
off.
Hey,
You're way
hey,
off.
hey, I'm married. I'm allowed to be off. I say it like this. If I'm married and I know her exact location, something's wrong. Leave me alone. So it's okay. South Carolina. Thank you, honey. I appreciate you. I much love to you. Hey, we need to connect. I will message you, not tonight, because funny enough, one time she tagged me in a joke, or she sent me a joke. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning in on the Eastern time zone, and I'm sitting there laughing about it. And I literally posted at like 4 o'clock in the morning over here. I was like, at Tiffany, you have me up laughing. My wife saw that the next morning. She's like, yo, dude, I thought you was sleeping. I was like, no, I was on Facebook last night. You didn't see the post I posted about Tiffany? She's like, I saw it. Why the hell? I was just like, I was honest though.
Yeah.
She's like, that doesn't matter. You're supposed to be sleeping. You what? Did you get up on time? Did you get up for work on time? I said, yes, I was up. I was up. Me and Tiffany was laughing at 4. That was when I got up for work. She's like, oh. Anyways, shout out to Tiff. I miss you so much. And I hope you're all right. Blessings to you and your family, and peace and love and blessings the more. Sophisticated, did you have anything to tie back in, or Damien, did you want to chime back in?
No, I guess Jerk, it's all you, buddy.
Yeah. I just got another question for you guys based on like your responses. Now, I think it was solid. I like that perspective, Dame, and I like what you came in with, Conrad. But so like based on that, that's a form of manipulation, right?
Mhm.
Would you say?
Self-delusion, manipulation, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, nah, that's funny. So, do y'all think they're better manipulators than men? Then, based on that,
100%.
Oh,
100%.
okay.
100%.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, I can't say I agree 100%, but I can say I do to some extent or another agree.
I
As
100%
you,
believe women are far better at manipulation because of one thing: vagina. It's like women can manipulate, seriously. It's like that thing will make, I mean, it's just, we're too much, most men are too much of a slave to it to really put up much of a fight when it comes to that. And then we've been on these panels to just see it firsthand. Dudes complain about not getting it. The dudes who are hyper sexual or can't get enough of it. It's just yeah. It's they can manipulate men easy.
no, I'm glad you said that. Yeah, I was actually having this conversation with somebody, and I started like breaking it down and like analyzing
Well,
some of
break
the
it
stuff.
down. What do you think?
No, you're spot on because yeah, based on what I'm saying, like I said when I asked that question, I'm like, how are y'all getting manipulated by like dudes will literally will like classify on a short bus. You know what I'm saying? And I was telling my wife this, and I'm like, it's almost embarrassing when y'all like you were saying, Dame, you try to justify it by saying like, well, this guy manipulated me. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm like, that dude has a GED. He probably failed, like got a
But
D in psychology.
he's 6 foot with abs. That's why. He's dark skinned with a beard. He's light skinned with light eyes. I mean, all that. It's like that's why they will allow themselves to do it, because they look at themselves and this is gonna come off harsh. They look at themselves and be like, "Man, I can improve the gene pool in my family, but I
So
can have
Dame,
cute babies."
you think in a way like they're almost like I'll say like scared to just say that I was attracted to that person because that's what I'm kind of seeing now. Like it's like women almost don't want to say like they have like attraction towards people.
Yeah, I mean, because what it is because that's accountability there. It's just like, and that's a lot of women don't have accountability. It's like you can't say, yes, This 6-foot dude had a 10-inch dick and he was putting on me like a porn star, and I got sprung. So I co-signed a car for him.
Right.
You know, they don't want to say that
My
because
man
there's no
Dave is the
sympathy in
master
that.
of analogies.
I mean, just
I like
breaking
how
it down. You
put
got
it.
to keep it simple.
No, but it's
Like,
true. It's
Nah, it
true.
is. It is.
Hey, hold on. I gotta hit this right quick in case the people didn't know where they were at. This is the real. Now we get into. Hey, you know what? This is how we got to put for people who manipulate themselves. This is how we feel.
Stop it. Get some help. Stop it. Get some help. Stop it. Get.
man, like I said, it's because it's
Stop it. Get some help. Stop it. Get some help. Stop it. Get some help.
Yeah, that's how we feel. Just stop it. Get some help.
Because you get sympathy if you say it was them and not me. You get scrutiny if you say it's me, and a lot of women like it was me. I did. You know, I want to ask you guys, brothers, something. Do you think the accountability is like other men act to a man being accountable, holding himself accountable something better than women react to women holding themselves accountable to stuff, the things that they do? Like if a man say, yeah, dude, I messed up my marriage, I cheated on her, I was just unfaithful, I fucked up. And if women say, I messed up my marriage, I cheated on him, I was unfaithful, I fucked up. Do you think men like give more like grace to those men than women give to other women when they're accountable?
That's a good question. No, I think men, especially if you got a solid crew, like if you came out like that, I think you'll get scolded by guys. Like, if I came out there and I was like, "Hey, Dame, I did this," you'd be like, "You idiot! Why would you?"
Yeah,
I
but
think you're gonna.
I hear you. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. So I think you're gonna get more of that, but I think you're gonna get solutions in that. Like, hey, man, like, as far as girls, I think, like you said, they're gonna spin the story to almost like, he was mean to me, he was verbally abusive or something, where like they're gonna try to justify the position, and I think women will console them a little bit versus like,
Because you just that was my whole point. It's like they got to play the victim a lot of times in order to not get that scrutiny from other women. Because if you got a good man who just working a lot and you just say, hey, hey girls, I'm getting a divorce because I cheated on my husband. Them chicks are like, he was a good man, why you cheat on him? And first, if you don't say, if you don't go he wasn't giving me attention and he was never there, shit, they'll give you that sympathy. But if it's like, nope, he was a good dude, I just wanted to get some side dick, women be like, you hella stupid, and and then they might even try to go get that man because he's a good man.
okay, I got you. Nah, that absolutely, yeah. If
Well,
they told
but
the truth, then yeah.
yeah, and to jump in on that, I mean, I think two things that were said, one by Tiff in the chat, which I'll show that shortly on her second comment. But accountability, there's two things that we've kind of jumped past that were sub points of mine to kind of bring up. With one was self-awareness. We kind of talked about that in terms of self-manipulation, in the aspect of taking any type of lens off yourself, specifically in this analogy or example for the women, and for the young women, wherever you are. What we're trying to say is you can't be so caught up in a moment or in words that you lie to yourself about what a potential outcome can be. You have to look at it for what it is, and if it is a displeasing situation, or if these words, they may sound nice, but it is really just it's really not leading anywhere substantial, then you got to do what's right for you in that moment. And the best thing for you to do is to really pass up on fool's gold. Right, we men know what fool's gold looks like and what it sounds like for the most part. This is why brothers can always tell, sisters, in terms of their immediate sister, blood family, look out for men who say this, look out for men who do this, because we understand the nature of fool's gold. It really do shine like that, but it really do be fooling like that at the same time. It falls flat at the end of the day, and you don't really necessarily want to be around when it falls flat. Understanding of self is another one, and I think that's maybe where we're going to. So I won't touch on that just yet, or won't segue to that just yet, because there's definitely some things that were said, as you guys both mentioned, Sophisticated and Damien, the group analogy. And this is was something that I'm hoping that the women on the panels from the other last two lives, Damien for yours and on Will's, I'm really hoping that they feel like I wasn't really attacking them or trying to like show myself smarter than them. But oftentimes we get in these spaces, and women will I feel, I should say, or based on my observation, there will be a change in the direction, from what the topic is trying to get to what it could be alluding to, in the aspect of, let's say, like the other night when we were talking about women can have it all, or Damien, even if we go back to communication on your live stream, that episode there, I was hoping it would have resonated with them, or at least caused them to think that when I said, your job doesn't come first, your femininity comes first. And the reason why I said that is because at the end of the day, the man doesn't marry you or doesn't choose her because of where she works. Like, let's just be honest about this. It's not even about what she brings to the table from what she doesn't bring to the table. I'm leaving that aside. We choose the women we chose, and the women that we have are right for us because they're in their femininity all the time. A man is to be a man all the time, and we've heard this. I always say this, coming from a Jamaican background, we are to be who we are. So we have to have the awareness of self to also understand who we are, not who we're going to be 10 years from now. Because if we don't have a solid foundation to be able to understand, where we are in this now, to be self-aware of where we are, am I running and functioning on all cylinders, then you could sit there and call yourself the alpha male or the alpha female all you want. Trust me, it's no better or no worse than anybody who's going to lie to you and tell you, yeah, girl, I'm gonna break your back and do all this, and then you get to the jump off and it ain't nothing but it's a hop. It's not even a jump off, it's a hop. You know what I mean? If I can put it like that. So we really gotta, I encourage all young men and all young women everywhere to have a self-awareness, in the sense to say, to understand, to make sure that you have a foundation in your mind that will not allow you to be easily swayed. I would rather that you question, and review. And I'm not saying to put them in some type of interview where it becomes monotonous or this routine. Yeah, like, find a tact about it, but you have to be aware first for yourself. What can you handle? What can you not handle? What could you see yourself in? What could you not see yourself in? And again, understand yourself. Now, when I say understand yourself, ladies, I'm not telling you to go on some super spiritual journey and go out into the wilderness and fast for 40 days and 40 nights. I don't think it takes all that for you in a modern construct. What I'm saying for you is you're going to have to find a place where you separate from the crap that you will surround yourself with in terms of the other girls. There's going to be times, young women all across the world, wherever you hear this, however this gets translated to you in whatever language, you will have to separate from the crowd if you want to have a better outcome, even within your social circle, specifically within dating parameters. You're going to have to separate yourself from the social circle at certain points to filter out the crap that you are being fed, both from either men and specifically from your girls, because they will sit there, and I don't think we were just alluding to this, they will sit there and watch you break up with a good man, and 2 minutes later be with that same man that they told you was no good, or however it went down, and they'll be with him, and you'll be sitting there wondering, who bamboozled me most? Was it the guy or was it my own girls? So you got to understand, ladies, having self-awareness, understanding yourself is not about understanding how to rub your nipples and play with your vulva. None of that crap. It's first. This is the real. I think. Listen, I might not say it on everybody else's
Keep
platform,
it
but I'm
real.
definitely gonna say it on
Hey,
mine.
Conrad over here sounding like a penthouse forum.
keep it
I'm
100.
I'm definitely
I'm with
gonna
it.
say,
Keep it a buck.
hey, it's the real, 24/7. Okay, ladies, sometimes you're gonna have to tell yourself straight, clear out all the noise, and get to a place where you can filter these thoughts to make a sound decision. I cannot say like I'm not over here, not about to sit there and baby and pamper not one of you. You have a mother or an auntie or a friend that just did that to you, and if you go and check their closet or you go and check their phone, they probably sleeping with your ex-man right now. So have the space and the understanding of time to deal with those thoughts, because those thoughts that are undealt with, the things that you're hearing in your mind that are undealt with both from men and from women, oh, that can put you into a place where, as you all like to say, who hurt you? We don't do that over here. Take accountability. Before we go on, I want to get to some of these comments. I'm not Tiffany, the one about the fruit. I'm gonna get back to that in a minute, because I feel like that might make me to go on a diatribe, and I don't want to do that just yet. Um, let's go with Paulo. Let's go with Paulo. Reaction will be different because the burden of responsibility is different for men versus women.
Yeah, that's the question. Ask who gets the better, more favorable reaction in those situations, men or women. I agree.
Oh yeah, 100%. I've never understood that. Quick story. I remember one time, again in my dating phases, long before I met my wife, blessed be the name of the Lord, I got caught in a situation, and these two girls decided to confront me in a public place, and I saw it coming from a mile away. And I thank God. You know what? I thank God for having true brothers along the walk of my life, because I don't mind a brother who doesn't fight with me as long as he tells me he's not going to fight with me. And
Yeah.
so I'm sitting there peeping the situation, and this brother, my boy, comes up to me. He goes, "Bro, do you see what's about to go down?" I said, "Yes, I see what's about to go down." He said, "Bro, I can't be in this fight with you." I said, "It's okay. Just go get the car. Just go get the car and park it outside. Keep it running though. Don't worry. I'm gonna fill it up with gas. And when I say walk, when I say go, just go to the car." So I got confronted by these two ladies, and they took their turn spinning jabs at me. And being the salesman that I am, I spun the situation and I said, "Look, y'all are right, but guess what? We're not about to do this here. I have a phone. You both have my numbers. If you are going to cuss me out, I am willing to listen to you cuss me out when I am home." Got into the car. My boy said, "How the hell did you pull that off?" I said, "I don't know, but I'm going to have to deal with it later." And when I look back at that situation, the one thing that I came around with was one of the ladies said to me, she said, "I don't think you'll ever change." I said, "Look, when I change, you will not be around to see it." She's like, "What does that mean?" Well, let's just say I turned my life around, got married, I got 3 kids. She's still single, wearing the same old dusty weave. Yeah. I'm just a little petty moment. I got to get that off my
I
mind. I'm
saw
real
that,
selfish.
brother.
Yeah, shout out to you, Conrad. I would have ran in that situation. I'm a coward. Damn that.
Tiffany I think she got a question. Is this a question, Tiffany? Or she just making a general statement? Okay. I don't know. I'm gonna pull it
there,
up.
there was a couple statements that she had. Let's go with this. Let's start from the top and just roll our way down. True conviction comes from within. I agree. Sometimes we're subconsciously seeking a cosigner. Vent wisely.
That is
Salute.
Yeah, that's facts.
Thank you. You just co-sign my sentiment. I appreciate you, Tiffany.
See, Tiff. Tiff. Hey, Damien, don't come up here with your light skin trying to take away my women, bro.
I'm not taking no. Cheering up on them Tuesdays. Hey, Tiffany, what are you doing on Tuesdays?
Oh my gosh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Let's go to Paulo. Paulo said, accountability forces self-awareness for those who typically operate on autopilot. I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like
tired
that.
of Apollo being like smart, man, crafting
Hella
these
prolific, man.
sentences like this, man. I'm getting a little irritated with this shit. No, I'm joking.
Yo, Paulo, can we just pause it right here for a minute? Paulo has a way of really like I look at Paulo like he's encyclopedia of Britannica. That's how
Yeah,
okay.
that's our wordsmith, and Dame is our analogy guy. So it's like when
Right?
we need the words and analogy, those two they put the picture together for us.
Paulo,
Oh my
I'd hate
days.
to be. I would hate to be liking the same woman as Paulo, because
Oh, I'm a
I feel
forfeit.
like seriously, you got a real competition with Paulo. Because I mean, you can't. It's just like the women melt. They're just like, oh, Paulo, it's just just like.
Listen,
Hey, comrade, if the chick is like, yeah, I'm really feeling Dame and Paulo, I'm just gonna be like, look, you got a chubby friend, like
Tiff knows my stance, man. Tiff knows my stance. I remember well, that's another story for another day. But at this time, we've got the archetype. Dare I call him the magnetic force? I call him the foundation. I call him the archetype of all archetypes. I've got the man, the myth, the legend, a true brother, and a growing friend. Welcome to the platform for the first time. Definitely not going to be the last time. Will Nicosi in the building.
ill
What's
will.
up? What's up?
What's up, Will?
I got
Brother,
caught up
what's
doing.
going on?
I got caught up doing some chest hair shit, so
Okay. Shout out to Will.
I got it done. I'm here.
Well, that's all
Which
right,
color?
brother. I'm glad you're here, man.
I really want you to pull up Tiffany's not the last one, but the second to the last comment, because there's something like we've had this self-sufficient, extremely independent. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, read it, brother.
Self-sufficient, extremely independent women screams masculine to that some type of man. It's a catch-22 after a certain age.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, there are two words when you're out there dating that are kryptonite to the other opposite sex. Submission is the kryptonite to women, and independent is the kryptonite to men. And when you're out there dating, I'm gonna tell you why. Self-sufficient is a far better term to use, because self-sufficient is equated to just being an adult. You're paying your bills, you're maintaining your lifestyle, you're growing in the places where you need to grow. Independent, it reminds me, man's man means apart. Like, you're keeping yourself. There's something that you're going to keep for yourself outside of this thing. Men view women who say, I'm self-sufficient, I'm maintaining, I'm doing what I have to, as somebody saying, okay. But if the opportunity came to become interdependent with somebody else, I would be wholeheartedly with it, because I really recognize that together we can probably do far more than I can do. Each of us can do independently. Independent just means like, I don't need no man. There's a difference between I'm open to a man coming and adding value to I don't need no man. That's what independent comes off as. So I caution women to throw the word independent if they're out there trying to find somebody, because all a man is going to ever hear is you saying that you're apart, or you're trying to keep something separate away, and you don't need them. You're of yourself, and that's it.
Right. Yo, Will.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you your flowers. I'm new to this. It's clearly really popping tonight, so I'm new to this. So here you go, brother. This one's all yours. Welcome, Will. Hearts.
Thank you, Tiffany.
All right, Will, we got the question for you. I don't know if you were listening earlier. Who's a better manipulator, Men or women?
Men or women? I would say us,
Why?
because women will take everything emotionally. So it's easy to it's easier to manipulate somebody who are based on emotions.
Mm.
You know what? I'm gonna disagree with you, Will, because I'm gonna tell you why. Because, and I said it. I can keep it very basic. It's like women can manipulate this because the degree in which men crave vagina is so significant. We will change our whole like the things that we do in order to obtain it. We will absolutely go with it with reckless abandon. Women can manipulate themselves and they can manipulate men. It's harder for a man to manipulate himself.
Mm.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But I think for me is at some point as a man, even if you're getting manipulated, at some point you're gonna get that rational reality check. But for a lot of women, their feelings is their reality, is their truth, regardless of the facts and the data or the reality that they're facing. You know.
But does that go to my regular other point? Was like, is the man manipulating himself? Like I gave the example of that movie Hustle and Flow, where Anna Faris says that I know that you're messing with my head because sometimes I let you because my head needs to be messed with. Like I was giving an example of a woman get with a dude that has 8 baby mamas, knowing that she doesn't believe in abortion, that she would potentially be the 9th baby mama.
Yeah,
she's got to be deluding herself and manipulating herself into believing that this dude has more value than he does to justify that you possibly being the 9th baby mama. So I think men. Go ahead.
No, I agree. I agree. I agree. You know, we want sex so much. You know, guys can be easily manipulated. You know, but women, I would say that women are more emotional. But they would, like you said, your example of the baby with the that being the 9th baby mama. For a lot of women, you know, when it comes to the type of man that they really, really want, they'll manipulate themselves or just let themselves be manipulated. So it's up there. You know,
Yeah.
it can sway.
We just disagree.
It can sway. It can sway on both sides.
No, but I see what
here's
Will's saying. So, Will, you're pretty much saying like they could be manipulated more based on their emotions, but it's kind of like a self manipulation. Would you say that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do agree with Damien. A lot of women would manipulate themselves, but the only reason why I tend to lean a little bit towards the women because I do understand that our strong desire to get sex, and guys would just let themselves just fall for it. You know, even with all the red flags and the signs. But I think for men that we hold ourselves more ruthless towards the world is more harder on men. So we get that reality check eventually. It's gonna hit you at some point. But the world is not ruthless to women at all. So we'll let the women live in their reality. We'll let the women live in their emotions. And what I see on social media, we just let the women say whatever they want to say, and just women and children. What's that word? Women and children are only ones that are loved unconditionally.
A man
but
is
not
loved
men.
under the conditions.
And why is that? Why will a man let a woman live in her delusion? You know it. You just said it.
Dave's got a point.
Time for your comment. Tiffany, hold on.
Because we want the box, so we will let ourselves be manipulated so we will let ourselves we're open ourselves to easily be manipulated by access to the box. That's why if a man will not say what he wants to say to a woman, like don't get me wrong, once you get married and you built this foundation where invaluable to the woman, then a man probably say whatever the fuck he want to in most cases, but a lot of cases. But no, some still cases, there's still dudes I know that still like get manipulated into wife. Like the woman wants something, they'll wait till they're about to have sex with them and be like, you know what, baby, my car has just been messing up. You think that we can get it? I can get a new car. Oh yeah, baby, whatever you want to get. Okay. You know, my Visa bill's late. You know, oh yeah, baby, whatever you want. You know, it's just like I've heard so many stories of that and seen it on so many shows where they'll be about to do it, and a woman will ask for something, and the dude will automatically say, "Yeah."
Here's a question to you guys. Have women ever, or do women truly check their emotions? And I'm gonna segue into another question for this. So I'm
Why
just
is
gonna
everybody
get
breathing heavy?
right.
Because it's one to think about.
That's a good one.
Do women ever, and do they truly check their emotions?
No, I would have to say no. Now that we give it a little bit of thought, I don't think they fully have to check their emotions as much as men do. Yeah, at all. Because other women will view, in most cases, their emotional response is justified if even in some cases when it lends itself to violence, some women can justify that. But if it's just like, oh my gosh, you broke down and start crying at work, they don't have to check it because women will support that. Oh my God, you're so happy at work, you're laughing and having a good time. Women will support that. You mad at your man because he came home late. Women will support that. So there's not enough mechanism to where I feel like women have to check their emotions as much as men have to do, because we're solution based. We results oriented. We say this needs to move, we try to move it.
I'm gonna say yes, but it's like 2% of them that it's a very slim margin. And the only reason I'll say like yes is because like I think if female aligns with like guys like you guys, that's like masculine, got yourself under control, got structure, I do think women will emulate that to a certain degree, you know.
But do they have to? Because we will accept their emotion.
Some of us will. And what's becoming a growing trend, which is on the adverse side, I really do believe that this is why the women of this generation are reporting to the men of their generation as they're sassy, is because they're not used to the majority of men standing on their word, to be accountable first to self. I cannot be accountable to any one of you brothers any more than I can be accountable to my wife if I am not first accountable to myself. I truly believe that. It will be hard because I do not have a formula of repetition. And so because of that, because my outcome of being accountable to you, any one of you brothers, same thing with my wife and my kids, if I'm accountable to them, for them to even come close to choosing me, I must be accountable first to myself. There must be some aspect of resolute decision making. I must have already come to the conclusion. And this is Will, this is something I was kind of alluding to just as you were coming up. I want women in general, when they hear a panel like this, to understand that we are not saying that they are less than. What we are saying that is accountability is a necessity. They cannot afford to choose. They can afford to choose if they want to buy milk, if they can afford to choose if they want to buy sugar, but accountability no longer for the generation to come. These women will have a very hard time, an uphill battle, coinciding with the men that are around them of this generation if they cannot be accountable, because more than ever, less men are acquiescing to vagina than ever, whether it's thrown at them in physically or virtually. In fact, I'll even challenge my own point to say more men are acquiescing to virtual vagina than they are to in-person vagina, because there's just less responsibility. They'll throw $1 at you, you can come and go, eat it. And so that aspect of accountability to understanding where you are is a necessity. They can no longer live in this fairy tale world, so to speak. It's not up for debate. It's like asking the question the other night, can women have it all? Yes, you can have it all in stages. Now, here, if we were to break this down further or go one step further, how many stages do you have to have all of what you want in those stages? How much stages do you really have? Which is what when I think it was Damien, when you said you would rather champion some key
Crush.
things and crush those things. So that way, if I have it all of these things that I focused on, rather than saying I can have it all, and the all does not have an end. There's no start and there's no beginning. It's just all, which is impossible. And that is the fallacy that is sold to all women. And dare I say, it's the fallacy that has been sold to women from time. If a man wanted to cheat on multiple women, he cheated on multiple women by presenting them verbally all of everything that they ever wanted. And we used to do this over the phone. I'm a big progenitor. When I was younger, even in my 20s, before I met my wife, I was a big progenitor of the late night phone calls. My boys knew they couldn't call me past 9 o'clock. Why? Because me and the girls were on the phone. And how many ever girls was willing to rotate that night? Because Susie or Sherry or Sheena had to sit there and be on the phone from 9 till 10. And then I got off I was going to give them all. Yeah, we call it love bombing when in this generation, I think, but let's just
there's no such thing as love bombing.
I was gonna everything you wanted to hear. I knew it. Why? Because you were listening to the same R&B songs that I was listening to. You were listening to the same Usher. I got it bad. You got it bad. We got it bad. Everybody got it bad. So when I got on the phone, I knew you had it bad, and I played upon the fact that you got it bad. That's just what it was. So if we want to, whether we want to call it love bombing, it's actually just straight up manipulation. And as you said, Tiffany, now this is where I'm gonna get at you, Tiffany, for that Eve comment. Here's the problem. Y'all women align with men that will watch you talk to a snake after we seen the snake come before you, and the snake is not supposed to talk. It's not about the fruit. It's about the actions. This is what we were talking about earlier with specifically as I was mentioning and we were all commenting on is I'm with my wife in public. I notice some ish is not right. I'm not going to allow her to walk into that situation knowing that the ish is not right. I'm going to tell her to stand from afar, and I'll meet you on the other side. You wait over in safety until I cross over danger into safety. And this is why we got to check our emotions, because some women in this generation are so in their quote unquote I really believe this is a load of crap, which is why I said the other night that a women's femininity comes before her job, and she must accept that, because to accept anything else, which means basically you're a symbiote, you are just some form without a designated form. You're this blank canvas without any stencil to it, and you're just going to sit there, and whatever gets thrown at you, you're just going to stick to it. So because the job gets thrown at you, because you got to go to college and you have to be self-independent and you don't need to depend on no man, okay, well, now you're masculine. No, you're unruly, and you don't know how to go to work and separate your work from your home life and your home life from your social life. That is just what it is. I'm not going to create these ambiguous terms to give you a way out. And this is what we're talking about when we say check your emotions. It's strip away all the crap, strip away all the paint, strip away all the glitter, and let's get to the real of what we're dealing with. Are we balanced in our emotions? Are we balanced in our mind enough to understand the fact that it is what it is? And I think it was either correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if it was you, Will. I can't remember just now, but you alluded to one of my points that I'm actually looking at my notes as we're scrolling down. And brothers, I really want to thank you for a great conversation. Tiffany, I want to thank, and Paulo, I want to thank you for a great movement in the chat, because this was actually one of my points where we're sitting there talking about and this is what I was actually saying, that the world doesn't owe us fairness or equity or understanding or affection or adulation or attention. And the follow-up question is this dangerous for young men to be taught this? And I think I might be wrong. I don't want to answer for everybody, and I'll pose this question in a minute, or in a couple seconds. But I think we can in some way agree that specifically young men need to understand this. If they're going to be the leaders of tomorrow, the world doesn't owe me a fair opportunity or a fair outcome. I think racism is the one point by all cultures can agree that we will never have a fair opportunity. As long as there are some of us that are among all of us that sit there and think that you can't get this opportunity because you don't look like how I want to accept you looking. Well, that's just what it is. You're not going to get that opportunity. Well, guess what? You might not want to give me that opportunity, but there's going to come a point if I can't get the opportunity, I might have to take the opportunity. Or I'm going to have to build my own, and I'll meet you on the other side. So when you ask me how I got here, I'm going to say it to you straight. Remember that opportunity you wouldn't give me? Well, I built my own. We're going to have to become resolute. So before I get to that question, Tiff, to your point, this is the type of man that I would say women need to not accept. The man that will sit there and watch you entertain foolishness that should not be the way it is. Because if we go back and reread Genesis, as you mentioned that, Tiffany, you're not going to see the scripture say, well, Adam was on the far side of the garden. It said the woman took the fruit and Adam was with her. When you read the conversation, Adam was present the whole time. Now, I don't judge Eve for what she did, even though it was stupid, because she got direct instructions from God within the context of this Bible story. She got the same instructions from God that Adam got from God in the same way. And I've heard this mentioned on many podcasts, and I wish they would stop mentioning it because they're not quoting it right. Eve got the same instructions that Adam got in the same context, in the same way that Adam got them. She was by herself, Adam was by himself, talking with God. The problem is we allow ourselves in some way, shape, form, or fashion to love bombed or to be manipulated by our own emotions or thoughts or the words of others to believe that something that may appear soothing is really just what it is appearing to be, when it in fact may not be. This is why I will sit here and I'll tell all young men across the world, you need to reject some pussy sometimes. Straight goods. Comes up to you, hey baby, no, I'm good. No, you're good. By yourself, I'm good. I'm good over here. Guys, I know I had to get this out. So thank you for kind of allowing me to kind of have that space. But to say what I had to say, but that when we say who hurt you, who triggered you, those ambiguous spaces where we allow people to be misled and manipulated and misguided, I think we need to rip the Band-Aid back. We need some people to feel some pain so they can wake up and understand that, like, yeah, if you're gonna have it all, you need to rethink what that all is. You really need to give it some thought, if that makes sense. Where we were coming from with this was understanding of self-awareness, to make informed decisions, and to better be able to check our emotions against what we are hearing in the form of manipulation.
Yeah, no, I like how you broke it down, and I think people do got to start taking accountability and, like you said, having that self awareness, because you're just not gonna have any growth if you're constantly like making excuses for certain things and you're not trying to analyze like why you allow that person in your life. Because like I know we talked about it numerous times where most of the time you're given signs and they're pretty clear, because a lot of people I'm talking to at recently, when you start asking them the line of question like, hey, did like your mom, your sister, brother, anybody come up and tell you like not to mess with that person? Most of the time they'll pause and they'll be like, yeah, people did say certain things, but that, like we said before, they're so infatuated by that person that they move forward. So, you know, instead of taking that accountability, they start putting the words in front of that. I know me and Will was talking about it a couple days ago. They'll be like, the manipulation and stuff, or whatever word phrases and stuff. So yeah, it causes people to skip that accountability, and they lose growth, and then they never really address what they never really need in their life. So that's why I do love a lot of these conversations, because it's building upon that, where we're kind of pulling them rocks out, like you said, Conrad, those band-aids, whereas it's like, hey man, like, you need to address this. If we're all saying we want better relationships, everybody's pointing the finger at the other side. It's just like, eventually you establish the pattern, you got to address that. So definitely just wanted to touch on that. Hey, but Will, real quick, I had a question for you, because I
Yeah.
was interested. What was your take on can women have it all? Because I don't know if you got to respond to it.
Oh, the women have it all.
Yeah, what's your take?
Oh no, no, women can't have it all unless they're willing to work for it, earn it.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, that's my standpoint. I don't. I I believe it is possible for women to have it. To have, well, it depends on what they want. What have it all is means to some women, but from my standpoint, most women want a career and success, and also want a family and a man. And I do believe it is possible to be successful as a woman and to achieve your goals, but still be able to prioritize a relationship and be with a strong masculine man. I believe it's possible, if
Okay.
you're willing to do the work, right? Um, but when I look online, for most women, have it all means I can literally do anything and still get those outcomes. Like, I can go through a whole phase. I can go out there, have fun in my
Yeah.
20s. Never putting in the work to uh, learn how to be a good woman, how to be a good wife. A lot of women just live through their 20s, and then in their mind, when they turn 30, the right man and the right relationship is just gonna fall into their lap without doing any kind of work to attract that outcome. So if having it all for a woman, it means, I want to be successful, I want a career, I want to accomplish my dreams, and still be able to attract myself a masculine man. I believe it is possible, but you have to be able to do the work and willing to make the decisions that most modern women aren't going to do. So you can't follow the trends that you guys see on social media for a lot of women, right? You can't participate in hookup culture. You can't participate, in the independent mentality movement. All these things that, the radical feminism movement. All these things that's detriment to themselves as women, but also to attract good masculine men. So if they want a successful career and a good man, and Jerk, you're an example of it. You have that hybrid, right? A woman
Yeah.
still works, successful what she does, but she also attracted you. I'm very good, strong, masculine man with good morals and values. Damien, same way. But then her wife tend to take a step back in the relationship. So you guys are both the examples that it's possible for a woman to still be able to contribute financially or be successful in their career choice or profession, and still be able to attract good relationship. But you and Damon made a great point. You were very selective of choosing the woman that you guys wanted, right?
Yeah. No,
So they
absolutely.
had to acquiesce to you and to your standards. And they had to put in the work to become that type of woman, worthy of being with a man, being men like you. So it is possible, um, if they are willing to put in the work, if they're willing to make those good decisions. But if they're unwilling to earn it, then it's impossible for them to get it. And I think that's most of the consensus of most women online. They just think that they deserve it because they think they were because it's in their mind, right? So yeah. So no, unless they're willing to work for it, and if it's only for that two outcomes they want. But if women just want like everything, I want the wife, I want the husband, I want the relationship, I want a whole phase, I want to travel the world. I want to do I want to do anything. No, then it's damn near impossible because anything good in life is going to require discipline and some kind of consistency and sacrifice. It's damn near impossible to get two outcomes, and let alone one outcome. But yeah, so that was my standpoint. That was my view.
No,
Right.
no, excellent view, man. Like I said, I'm glad we were having these conversations. Even the one from last night, it's all tying together. What you're doing, Conrad, with like check your emotions, but also, like it's kind of like checking that reality, what you're saying, Will, because it all ties in with each other. Because yeah, like it seems like almost like a fairy tale. I think everybody's like chasing nowadays. Like it's just so unrealistic to the point where I think people are waiting for that level of perfection and they're aging out. Like, they're getting in their 40s and stuff,
Yeah.
and they're still they're still like, there's a little bit of hope. And this is like, man, you better lock down just a good guy and stop waiting out the market like that, because people are getting snatched up and stuff. So yeah, it's kind of sad, but nah, I definitely appreciate you guys having these conversations, man.
No,
I,
sorry,
go
go
ahead.
on. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I really believe there's going to be a reset. I really believe that all these women and men as well, they're just making bad decisions. Uh, I think we need to hit like we need to we talk about check our emotions. I think society really, especially for the women, they really need to get a hard check and then realize, oh, everything that we've done the last 30, 40 years since the sexual revolution and radical feminism, it's gonna take these young generational women to age out and realize how bad it is for women to start to change. If that makes sense.
No, it does, man.
So right now, they're like the women right now in their 20s and women still look good in their 30s and 40s with the modern medicine and society a lot more healthier, and they still look good and still attracting sex or attention from men. But it's gonna hit them when they hit 50, 60, 70, when they're all alone with 10 cats, right? So that's those women are gonna be the ones to raise the next generation of women coming after them. Hey, look, I messed up, right? I messed up. Do not, and then I think it's gonna be a reset.
Oh,
That
okay, I got you.
that's just my hypothesis, my theory. So feeling bad for all these women not being alone and because they didn't put in the work and make the right choices, I don't feel bad. It's you get out of life what you put in. But I do believe it's necessary uh, for these generation of women to finally realize, 40, 50 years from now, and then that hardship and that resentment and that regret, that's gonna cause them to change their mind and then raise the next generation of women after that to go back to the traditional values. And hopefully guys like us and you, me, Jerk, and Damien and Paulo, we're gonna be the ones, and more men stepping up in the space to help the men in this generation to make a change as well as we get older.
Nah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, because I think we, like you said, forcing these conversations, and Conrad's doing the same thing. Also, it's just even the topic we are talking about yesterday. The reason why like I push hard on some of this stuff, because I know a lot of time, like you said, people are just thinking like, okay, I can land this guy. He should come and like take on everything. But I like how like Paulo came up, and even you were breaking it down where the prototype of woman that should be aligning or should be awarded with, like, I'll say the providership is the female that's simple, puts the household first, selfless and stuff. So
Mhm.
like you're kind of saying, Will, is just like, hey man, like you when you were asking a one lady about the would she operate under somebody's standards, and she got kind of mad. It's just like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
no guy is just gonna take on nothing without like a certain level of authority and a structure, so
yeah.
it's just kind of crazy.
Even
Yeah.
even the men in space can get a reset. These men are being
Oh, big
feminized,
time.
being taught to acquiesce, to women, to have no standards for themselves. And a lot of a lot of, especially the more liberal men, they believe that that's the best way to do it. But they're gonna face the consequences as well when they realize that the women they're gonna be with are not gonna respect them. The women they're gonna be with are gonna be sleeping around with somebody else, are gonna eventually leave them, and then they're
Mhm.
going to get the hard truth as well, and then realize, what, being in my soft guy era is bullshit, right? And they're gonna be and just like the women, they're gonna be alone with 10 cats. There's gonna be some old ass men out there, with alone as well in their wheelchair, and then
Yep.
they realize that, oh, being soft is not the way to go. So they're gonna raise the next, the next generation of men. Look, being soft is not the way to go. You got to be strong, be masculine, have good morals and values. That's the way to go. So I truly believe there's going to be reset society, because like society is just, the way the direction we're going is going to be hopefully it's a reset, but it's not a downfall of society. Society just doesn't fall apart. I hope it's not fall apart. I may have to fly somewhere else and go to New Zealand with Paulo or something. But I do believe both men and women, the way it's going to lead, I think there's going to be a whole generation of men and women that's eventually they're going to have to reap what they sow. And they're gonna realize, oh man, I clearly made a mistake in my life, and now I'm at the ending, the last couple of years of my life, and I don't have the relationship, I don't have the family, I don't have children, I don't have the woman I want, and they're gonna have regret, and then they're gonna teach the next generation of guys to go opposite, and women to go opposite.
Yep. And to some degree, and as we talk about, again, under the banner of checking their emotions, I mean, I always say this to like my daughter, that I will never try to teach her a lesson based solely off my emotions. I will use my emotions to connect with her so she understands that I care. But I will never give her that, because I would be doing myself a disservice, and ultimately I would be doing her a disservice by not presenting her the archetype or the prototype of even from an early age of a man that she should even follow or acquiesce to. Tiff made a comment, just said, as you were saying, Will, which I think kind of just aligns with the aspect of what you were saying about men in their soft guy era trying to think that that's the best approach. I watch these same men get played by and used by the same women who they choose, and it's true.
Let him be. Let him do it.
Right. To my old acquaintance crying over his side chick in another man's Ferrari. He was definitely in his soft guy era, crying at work when he should have been making money. But there's a couple things that we said and points that I jotted down that I kind of quickly wanted to summarize. One, I already said that I had a question, and I'll come back to that.
Hey, Conrad.
Actually, yeah.
No, I was just adding to what your coworker that was crying over his girlfriend. For me, is when I see guys now crying over the girlfriend. Most guys who try to give him some words of encouragement or inspiration, but when I see guys crying over the girlfriend, I'm like, good. Go do it again. Go do it again. Go back to her.
That's the belt. That's the belt.
No, Will, that's a good point, man. I do think like people got to go through a certain level of like heartaches and that pain, man. They got to get that growth. That's why sometimes I had to learn how to, I was that guy that was like trying to pull people off the cliff. But when I started realizing that, it's like they're damn near like, once I'm trying to pull them off the cliff, they're running towards it. So I was just like, hey, man, I'll give my little point of view, but I had to learn how to back off and shit.
Yeah.
So you're spot on. Yeah, they got to.
Some of them will survive,
Some of them.
Some of them.
If they're lucky.
Hey, only the strong survive in this world.
No, absolutely.
So I'll just bring this up. One of my points is simply for the men that are watching this podcast and will watch this podcast and go through this video and try to glean what we're saying is, in the aspect of checking your emotions, you're gonna have to adapt or perish. For a man, it doesn't matter what your mom says, it doesn't matter what your auntie says. I think if you go back and if you're fortunate to have a grandmother in your family that is over the age of 60, he will tell you that the grandfather, while he may not have been perfect, your grandfather, to a degree, whether he's resting in peace or he's still alive, he adapted or he was bound to perish. And more or less, the whole family is here because she chose to align herself with somebody who could adapt rather than just saying, oh, woe is me and it's not fair and I think I deserve, and nah. And I'll point it here because I think I'm just just that bold enough to. Real men don't look to perishing as an end goal, just waiting for something to oh, I'm gonna just wait until these things just die out. No, we're gonna adapt because we have a mind to be beyond where we are today. And I think that's one thing that I really like about you, Will, as a brother, sophisticated, manic, everybody, is that mindset to go on and go forward.
Yes, sir.
You know what? And I'll just give these few points and then we'll close off. Jerk, don't leave just yet because I know you got to go.
I'll stick around.
Yeah, adapt or perish is definitely you young guys learn that. Controlling your emotions is an aspect of leadership. It may not be the full weight of the leadership title, whatever that looks like, but it is an aspect, and you will have to learn how to control your emotions. You will have to know how to put certain things in place to be able to so on, quote unquote, let off some steam. Go to the gym, read a book. You know what I mean? Get yourself with other brothers, and if you're going to confide in them, confide in those who can understand your walk because they're also living the same walk, so to speak, in a healthy, productive manner. Don't get Joe Blow off the street who's on the corner all day. He's not really going to understand. He's going to tell you to go get a six-pack and let's go get off this weight. Emotions that are unchecked create these, in my opinion, random children, random baby mothers, jail terms, DV situations. All of the above is mandatory that a man should abstain from. Those things, brothers, young brothers all over the world, especially if you're between the ages of 12 through to your early 20s, it's not enough to say, I made it through and I'm not a statistic. You must stand on this code every day of your life. And again, understand that the world does not owe you fairness or equity or understanding or affection or adulation or attention. If you're going to be great, you're going to have to get it out the mud. And sometimes you're going to have to draw the word great in the sand and then you by yourself define it. In that, you must still be aware, because it's not to say you won't find brothers to align with you. It's not to say that you won't have family in there, but there's going to be some days that you will face where you will be the proverbial knight in the dragon's den by yourself. And that's not the time to check your emotions. We all pray for rain, but are we prepared to deal with the mud? If I will circle back to a lot of your comments when we get to the live stream. Will, you are a visionary because, as you said it, the dating world is heading for a hard reset, and I already did an episode on that. So if you're looking for a part 2, definitely the 1920s to 1950s. We'll get back to that a different time, Tiff. I love you. She said, in my opinion, a lot of our grandparents, 1920s to 1950s, were miserable. They probably were, but there was just some things they weren't.
Tiff, you got to define a lot. A lot doesn't mean there are also a lot of grandparents who were happy. You know, a lot of times women would say a lot to
Yeah, that's
put
pretty vague.
all of them in an umbrella. I do know. I mean, I can't say that it was a lot. A lot means a majority. I think there was some bad parenting out there, some bad relationships, but that wasn't the majority. Because if majority of people in the 20s and 50s were miserable and had bad relationships, society would have been a lot worse.
Yeah,
a lot worse, right?
Yeah.
So the foundation of any society is the family. So if the family breaks down, the society breaks down. But I think there were just bad examples out there. But I think sometimes we just consume so many content, and we don't really take accountability of our relationships, of the outcomes we want, and we tend to focus on, other things besides what we can control. But I just wanted to say that for the grandparents. I know there are a lot of good grandparents, but there's a lot of great people today, and that's a byproduct of all the good parenting from all back in the day.
100%, 100%, 100%. Well, you know what, fellas, sisters, everybody in the chat, everybody around the world, we're gonna call it here for tonight. Will, I'm gonna definitely message in the group to the brothers, because like you said, I think you already coined it, and I don't know if you want to do a live on that residual domino effect from trauma. Yeah, I mean, it's a factual standpoint, but we'll have to discuss that. We'll have to discuss that. Maybe it's something we can tie through if the hard reset is a topic for the dating culture that is impending, the impending asteroid. I do believe, as well as you said, that the dating landscape is heading for a hard reset. I saw this coming from 2011, which is why I found my wife in 2012 after spending a year by myself to check my emotions. I'm being dead serious with you. And bro, like it's not even like bad in Canada for single women and single men, but it's almost as bad in Canada as it is for people in the States. So, but like I said, I saw it coming back in 2011. I pulled out for a year. I checked my emotions. I retooled my engine. I put a new engine in, got a new turbo, new intake, new manifold, and I've been running on fresh oil ever since. You figure. So I can definitely agree that dating is on for a hard reset, and only those who are willing to have the conversation about it may have the chance to survive it. We'll see what happens. With that said, to everybody around the world, peace in the T-Dot streets and the Middle East, all over the world. Thank you to my boy, my brother, Will, Sophisticated Jerk, Damien, Paulo, Manic Genius, Big Dog Barking, our sister Tiffany K, and everybody else who's chiming in from wherever you're chiming in. Thank you for being here today. And again, we are going to, I'm gonna have to clip your comment, Will, about getting that new camera. And,
okay. So you read it? Okay, great.
I did read it. I did read it out.
Hey,
We had a good laugh.
Conrad, can I respond to Tiffany's comment about our grandparents from 1920 to 1950?
Yeah.
I like what Will said, but I will say this: my grandmother was a thought. I will put that out there. She it's facts. I could go in details on another stream, but
so that's why you're a jerk. Blame grandmother.
Oh my gosh.
You having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like you.
Well, I mean, to be fair, all of us in our ancestry, I'm sure there was one woman in our ancestry that was all of us.
Yeah. That's the unfortunate reality of the matter.
Yeah.
I think Michael has a message.
Stop
for
it.
us.
Get some help.
Yeah, I definitely know I needed some help when I found out where the Thought-a-Tree lineage was in my family, and again, that was one of my dark dragons I had to slay.
Tiffany's like, I never should have put that comment up. Now, Jerk just killed my comment.
I should go post which is like, "Where's Damien?" That's what I'm waiting for. What did she say? Oh, good night, everyone. I love this podcast. Keep going, Conrad. Thank you, honey. I really appreciate you. You definitely are one of my main supporters, and we love you over here. And again, when I have a surprise for all the brothers, but that's going to be on the next episode, which will be next Friday, same time, same channel, unless for some reason I get called somewhere else. I will leave those comments, or I think Damien is where got the call that I might get called. Either way, brothers, thank you for coming through. Very quickly, plug your channels right quick. Where can the people find you?
Yeah, real quick, I'll just say you can find me on a Managed Sophistication, and on Thursdays I'm over there on Will's channel. So definitely check out Will's content. Does great stuff, and Will could break it down a little bit more. And I'll be over here on Fridays now. So I'm merging myself into everything, Conrad.
Hey, Will brought us all together. You might as well.
Yeah, same thing. You know, One Koozie, Got podcast on Wednesdays, the Mastermind on Thursdays, and then on Saturday tomorrow, we got some women coming into this to the live studio, and we're gonna talk about we're gonna have a great show on dating and relationships, and also just to let you guys know, there is a dating show in the works. It is about to happen, Jerk. It's gonna,
Jeez.
it's gonna happen. I want to invite some men, just come on and do a speed dating with some of the girls and see how they do. And
All
I might
right.
invite Conrad and Jerk and Damien, and you guys can be the coach. You guys can coach them up.
I think this could be hilarious, Will. This is gonna be definitely a good one.
I'm excited for that one. But yeah, always, it's a pleasure. Always, Conrad and Jerk. Always good to be around you guys, and I'm very grateful that our paths have come
Likewise.
together. So excited to what we can do and how far we can go.
The sky is the limit right now. The sky is absolutely the limit. For those that are watching, again, good night. If you haven't already, hit up all of us, hit up all the platforms, and specifically for the real, we're at 55. So salute to all the 55 subscribers, which is literally a 30 that came in over the last 24 to 48 hours. I want to salute to all of you everywhere. You don't know how precious you are, and you may think that money means more than the subscribes or the likes, but for right now, we love and support. We love the fact that you just came out to support. So for those 30 new subscribers, blessings to you on YouTube. Let's keep the goal going. We're pushing for 100. And you know what? If we keep this up, we might have that goal sooner than later. Salute to everybody. Everybody be blessed. Will, Sophisticated, Damien, Paulo, the whole crew, my sister Tiffany. I love you. Love you guys. Peace. We
All
out.
right. Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.